There's a difference between having an open mind and being mentally disturbed. Ashton Forbes and his following have the brain of birds. A obvious fake video made by a man who's come clean. Ashton just blocks him and says he's being mean. Hey, why won't Joe Rogan listen and accept my piss poor evidence? I should block his ass too for not having an open mind. Don't get me started on Mick West for not investing his time on wormholes and missing airplanes. Can't he just tickle my schizophrenic mind?
Holy shit! Holy shit! MQ-1C Gray Eagle!
And not so fast, Arthur Preston.
Did I get scammed?
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. By popular request tonight, I will be speaking about everyone's favorite Alfred E. Newman-like hoax promoter, Ashton Forbes. For those unaware, Ashton Forbes, for quite some time now, has been promoting conspiracy theories around the tragic deaths of, 200 people on the MH370 flight. And despite a multitude of CGI and VFX experts, video editors, and more who have all come forward and proven conclusively that the videos he bases his entire following and conspiracy theories on are completely and totally 100% provably fake, Ashton refuses to admit that to his followers. And really, it's no surprise to me because before promoting this MH370 hoax, nobody ever heard of him. Nobody knew who he was. And, you know, I think there's a real problem with people promoting and platforming a proven hoax promoter. But let's be clear, Ashton Forbes is not just a proven hoax promoter once. He is a proven hoax promoter twice. Because after the MH370 conspiracy started to fall apart, you know, when you get up to the fact that there's like 15 VFX and CGI experts all saying these videos are fake and here's why they're fake, and I'm an expert in this field, what does Ashton do? He posts anonymous Reddit posters who claim that they're from Marvel VFX or that they worked on Top Gun Maverick. They were the head of VFX and the videos can't be fake. He uses fake information to try to debunk the debunks. He is really just a piss poor person as well. He has threatened, intimidated, harassed, threatened to dox and take legal action against anybody who dared to say that his fake videos are fake. And, you know, I, for one, don't wish any legal troubles on anyone, but I want to put it out there that, you know, I'm gathering a PDF file of all of the debunks of these MH370 videos. So should anybody face any legal consequences from this psychopath maniac incel, right? I should have that ready for you, and the judge and jury can have a great laugh at a clown who has been promoting completely and totally 100% provably fake videos for how long now, suing somebody for their opinion that, yes, those videos are fake. And of course, this gets into now we have the Vetted podcast guy, who I think his name is Patrick, who, by the way, you asked for this, Patrick, you dumbass. I didn't even know who the guy was. I don't watch garbage, clickbait, sensationalized garbage promoter channels, but many people do. So the Vetted guy got in between a disagreement or something I said about another garbage promoting podcast, that UFO podcast. And, I know why he did that is because the grifters all stick together. And Patrick's hoping to get some points with the UFO podcast grifter so that they'll help his grift. Like, send me some of your hoax promoter guests so I can make a couple of dollars too. And by the way, I just want to put on the record, I don't know if this is true, but I've had several people tell me this Vetted guy is free to correct anything that is factually inaccurate. I can only go on what I've been told. He is a full-time show host, and yet he doesn't have 5 minutes to research any of the hoax promoters that he promotes. That tells you everything you need to know. And, it's so funny. This Vetted guy is literally a repeat of Third Phase of Moon. Uses the same, the check mark or the arrow in every single video to try to get people to click on his clickbait. He uses the same stupid excuses. Well, I didn't research this. We're just putting this out there. And I've heard the excuses that some people make for him, like, well, he's a full-time show producer. He doesn't have time to research. No, if you're a full-time show producer, it's your job to actually do research, to actually investigate stories. But we're going to see tonight that this Vetted guy's only defense for promoting so many hoaxes, he promoted the Nazca mummies hoax and made money from that. He just forgot to tell his audience that hoax came from Jaime Maussan, who's been involved in, 60 different hoaxes, most famously the Roswell slide hoax, where he defrauded the public out of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for a pay-per-view event. You forget to tell your audience that, but see, this is how the Vetted podcast works. He presents half of the story and he leaves out all the information that would make you go, oh, so this is all bullshit, right? This is all fake. He leaves out that part, and we'll get into that. And he uses the same exact excuses and tactics that Third Phase of Moon use. Well, we're putting it out there. We're first to put this out. We'll let the audience decide. All those excuses fall apart when you realize that this man is a full-time garbage peddler. That's his job. Now, imagine the hellish existence of this Vetted guy if he does not promote fake people, disinformation, misinformation, fake stories, and hoaxes every single day of his life. He can't eat. He can't pay his rent. He can't keep a roof over his head. He can't pay his car insurance, his medical expenses, his grocery bills. But I think the best thing to think about is imagine every day before you sit down to eat dinner, you have to stop for a minute, right? You have to say, wait a minute, I have to go promote a fake story. I have to go promote a disinformation and misinformation peddler so that I could get my couple of bucks so that I can afford to sit down and eat my dinner every day. What a hellish existence. And by the way, just a word of caution for the Vetted podcast host. I don't know, he seems to have just gotten into this, like it came out of nowhere from a year and it blows by everybody that's been doing this for 3 or 5 years. I've been doing this 3 years, blew right by me, but it's easy to see why. The man has no ethics. He's promoted the Nazca mummy hoaxes. He's promoted Jeremy Corbell's hoaxes. He's promoted the Jon Stewart alien interview hoax. And by the way, Vetted, you're dumb as rocks. I'm just going to put that out. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. You are dumb as rocks. First of all, for coming after me and attacking me. You don't know me and you don't know my history. We have a proven track record of accurate fact-based reporting. And you, sir, are a garbage peddling, grifting, scamming huckster. You scam everybody, including your audience. How does it feel to be sitting in the Vetted audience knowing that the guy running the show is literally scamming you by only giving you little parts of information, to get that disclosure boner going, right? And get the clickbait. Make sure everybody clicks on this. And we're going to show you several examples. He's recycling 20-year-old, 100% proven fake stories, like Dennis Glenn from Roswell. By the way, if you want to see real and good research into Roswell, this weekend we'll be rebroadcasting 24 hours of Roswell interviews and research that we did here. That's good research. And by the way, just to be clear, I don't care if somebody talks about certain subjects or even platforms certain people. But you have to do so, in my opinion, imagine this, you have to do it morally and ethically correct. If all you're going to do, Vetted guy, by the way, why do you call your show Vetted? What? Show me something you vetted. You don't vet anything. And we're going to prove it tonight. We're going to prove that you're a garbage peddling shit huckster. That's what you do so that you can make money. You peddle garbage and shit onto the internet. You're the problem here. We don't need government disinformation agents because there are useful idiots like this Vetted show host. The government doesn't need to disinform us or spread misinformation because Vetted Podcast is doing it for them. All right. So we're going to be exploring tonight the methods that people like Vetted use to sell fake information, false information, fake stories, disinformation, and misinformation to the public for profit. And let's be clear, this is his full-time job, spreading fake, false information. Now, sure, he might have spread some that isn't, but look at his catalog. Almost everything he promotes is proven hoaxes. He promoted Jeremy Corbell's jellyfish hoax. And, you know, he just forgot to tell his audience that Jeremy Corbell is a shit huckster too. Because the shit hucksters like Vetted and Jeremy Corbell, you know, he's got to lick the asshole of people like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. We don't have to do that here. We can tell you the truth, right? But in order for Vetted guy to eat, he has to do what he's got to do, promote those hoaxes every day of his life. And what a hellish existence. Mr. Vetted, every day you wake up in the morning, what do? Do you look in the mirror as you're brushing your teeth in the morning and say, you know, I got to sell more hoaxes today. I got to promote more disinformation, misinformation, fake information, and hoaxes so that I can eat today. What a hellish existence. And by the way, I don't wish any ill will on anybody, but you, Mr. Vetted guy, should look into the history of people like you. Go look at how Jimmy Church is doing. Go look at how Corey Good and David Wilcock and people like that promote fake information. Look at the effect it has on them. Look at Emery Smith. And again, I don't wish any ill will on this Vetted guy. We're going to try to educate him tonight. But what he should do is he should examine the history of people like him who promote hoaxes and fake shit. Many of them, do you have drug or alcohol problems, Vetted guy? If you don't now, you soon will. Because here's the deal. Lying to people every day of your life is corrosive to the soul. And it doesn't matter if you're just doing the lie by omission, by leaving out 75% of the story and the information about the fake stories you promote. It's still lying to your audience. That becomes corrosive to the soul. And we have seen there is a proven track record in history of people like you, Vetted guy, having their souls corroded because they have to lie to people every day. They have to promote fake garbage every day. And what happens often is that people like you develop severe drug and alcohol problems. Now, I don't wish that on you, but I'm just telling you that there are some dangers in what you were doing that you probably should be well aware of. But we're going to start tonight speaking about Ashton Forbes, who, by the way, he did a complete 180 on. And I know why. He figured out, oh, I can make money off of that guy. And that's what I think about Vetted guy in general. He's the guy that, like, he sees somebody making money. You know, I mean, I grew up on the mean streets of Philadelphia, and somebody would see, like, somebody's got, let's say, oh, I don't know, 85 cases of cigarettes in their basement that they're selling. And there's always bottom feeders. That's what Vetted is. He's a bottom feeder who feeds off of the top tier hoax promoters. And he runs in to get his little piece, kind of like the guy in the neighborhood that would go to the guy with the cigarettes. Hey, sell me a couple of cases of those cigarettes so I can make some money too. It's a bottom-feeding grift. It's amazing. But let's begin with the perils of pseudoscience and Ashton Forbes, who has misused the media, including podcasts, to mislead the public with completely false realities and completely fake conspiracy theories. And let's be clear, it's not just Ashton who is guilty here. It is everybody who has platformed him and not shown the verifiable scientific information that proves that everything Ashton promotes is fake. The rise of digital platforms, friends, has enabled the rapid dissemination of false information, or just information, both factual and fictitious. Among the purveyors of dubious content is Ashton Forbes, who is a prominent figure in the MH370 conspiracy theory community. Tonight, we'll be critically examining Forbes' promotion of flight MH370. However, we've covered this before, so I will be brief in my comments about that. Mostly, we're going to be focusing on his free energy scam this evening, including, yes, his recent ventures into the realm of purported free energy, or the term he prefers, over Unity devices. By analyzing his tactics, including the aggressive silencing of critics, skeptics, and debunkers, we'll be highlighting the broader dangers of Ashton propagating debunked and manipulative content in the age of digital misinformation. So, for those unaware, the mysterious disappearance of Malaysia flight MH370 in 2014 has fueled numerous conspiracy theories, each attempting to explain the aircraft's fate. Among the most controversial figures in this domain is Ashton Forbes, whose fake videos purporting to show the final moments of MH370 have been widely circulated despite being debunked as computer-generated imagery, or CGI. We'll explore some of the critical flaws in Forbes' narrative, his methods of quashing dissent or skepticism, and the recent escalation of his activities into the promotion of supposed free energy devices. So we'll begin just talking about those fake videos, which we have covered extensively here. Don't want to belabor the point, but we should cover that for those who missed my previous coverage of those completely and totally fake videos. Forbes' primary contribution to the MH370 conspiracy is finding a series of videos, which, by the way, were found on a UFO Hoax YouTube channel, that claim to reveal the plane's disappearance. These videos, which have been scrutinized by over 15 experts, exhibit clear signs of CGI manipulation. And despite the absolutely overwhelming evidence from aviation experts, digital forensic specialists, CGI experts, VFX experts, and investigative journalists debunking these videos, Forbes continues to assert their authenticity. His refusal to acknowledge factual evidence raises significant concerns about his intentional spread of misinformation. And let's be clear, he is intentionally spreading information he knows is proven false and fake. And why is he doing that? He is doing it for profit. Now let's get to his blocking and attacking critics. Forbes' strategy in maintaining his narrative involves the systematic silencing of critics. He frequently blocks individuals who present counter evidence and engages in personal attacks against debunkers and skeptics, up to and including threats of doxing and legal cases he intends to bring against people. He has frequently said that he will destroy people. This pattern of behavior not only undermines legitimate discourse, but it also fosters a hostile environment where misinformation can thrive unchallenged. His threats to, quote, destroy the debunkers. This, my friends, exemplifies a dangerous precedent where falsehoods are protected through intimidation rather than scrutinized through scientific research and reasonable debate. Now, let's get to his free energy scam. Because in addition to his MH370 conspiracy theories, Forbes has recently ventured into the promotion of free energy or over Unity devices, which purportedly generate more energy than they consume. These claims are reminiscent of pseudoscientific scams that have been debunked repeatedly by physicists, scientists, electronics technicians, and engineers. The laws of thermodynamics, the very laws in which our world is governed by, the laws of physics, render such devices completely and totally impossible. Yet Forbes, who, let's be clear, has no education in science, has no credentials in science, and has no proof of his claim, Forbes capitalizes on the scientific illiteracy of his audience to sell these supposed or alleged breakthroughs. And let's be clear, in the history of people promoting free energy, not one person has ever shown a working device, including people who I know have spent decades pursuing these devices, building these devices, working on these devices. People are big on claims, short on proof. But somehow Ashton Forbes, who has no scientific training, no physics degree, no electronics degree, he's going to tell you that he cracked the code of free energy where everybody else failed. And there's also the problem of falsifiability. Ashton Forbes refuses to allow his beliefs and his statements and his claims to be falsifiable. He claims that they have a working free energy device. Did you know they get the Nobel Prize for figuring that out? And we'll get into some of the specific claims, but there's a real danger in pushing debunked theories. Ashton Forbes is pushing these completely and totally fake free energy claims, which leads to an erosion of trust in science and the media. The propagation of debunked theories by figures like Forbes erodes public trust in legitimate scientific and media institutions. When falsehoods are presented with the same gravity as verified facts, the public's ability to discern truth from fiction is compromised. So Ashton is doing some real danger here, whether he realizes it or not. And let's be clear, Ashton has zero evidence in zero experience in electronics. He's not even qualified to determine if a device actually works. But yet he's going to tell you that he has working devices and they've sold over 30 of them. Great. Can he show us the 30 working devices? Can I get interviews with the 30 people who are powering their homes from these devices? Of course not. He will not allow any scrutiny of his claims. Forbes' activities prey on individuals who may lack expertise to critically evaluate his claims. And Forbes, by presenting himself as a crusader for hidden truths, he exploits the fears and uncertainties of his audience. This manipulation not only misleads, but can also have tangible consequences, such as financial loss or misguided beliefs that lead to real-world actions. Ashton Forbes exemplifies the modern-day purveyor of pseudoscience. Ashton Forbes is a modern-day snake oil salesman. His reliance on fake videos, his aggressive silencing of critics and threatening of critics, and the promotion of scientifically impossible devices represent a clear and present danger to informed public discourse. It's imperative that scholars, journalists, podcast hosts, and the public at large remain vigilant against such figures, using critical thinking and evidence-based reasoning to debunk the falsehoods that Ashton promotes and uphold the integrity of real scientific truth. Also, I just want to put on the record here, there's an incredible paper that was written. Oh, we'll get back to this. Here I have it. White R. White in 2021 published a paper called The Physics of Free Energy, Why Over-Unity Devices Are Impossible. And this is from the Journal of Applied Physics, which I believe is peer-reviewed. So when Ashton tells you as a working free energy device, what he's also telling you is, he's telling you that every scientist, every electronics engineer, every electrical engineer, and every physicist on Earth are completely wrong. And yet he is completely right. Yeah, I kind of find that hard to believe. I don't know about the rest of you, but it would appear that in order to believe Ashton's claims, you have to believe that every scientist on Earth is completely wrong about over-unity. You have to believe that the Journal of Applied Physics is completely wrong, and they allowed somebody to to publish a completely wrong article in their Journal of Applied Physics. This is where things get problematic. And then there is also the issue that the device that Mr. Forbes is actually promoting or claiming that he'll be selling is a very old device, which many people have tried to build, and no one has been able to prove it a working device. And I challenge Mr. Forbes, show us the device working. Don't show us a screenshot. By the way, Ashton Forbes, as his proof for his free energy device before taking, what was it, $50,000 orders, Ashton Forbes showed a 14-year-old video. A still image that he took from a 14-year-old video. A video in which the author of that video recently changed the description of his video to say, I have no affiliation with this guy, Ashton Forbes. And people have reached out to that person. He doesn't know why Ashton Forbes is using a still from his 14-year-old video, which, by the way, never proved that the device worked, to prove that he has a working free energy device. Ashton Forbes has made a multitude of grandiose statements, including that 30 people have bought the device from he and his partner. Or his partners have sold 30 of these devices. So, great, Ashton, why don't you bring those people on your show and let them tell you all about the free energy that they've had for 14 years now? How many years have they been selling these 30 devices? Can we see the working device? Did you get? And by the way, Ashton can very quickly prove that what he's selling is not a scam. He can get an electrical engineer, a physicist, and I don't know, an electronics technician or a computer person, to electrical engineer, electronics technician, and a physicist. Let them look at the device, let them measure the device, and declare that it works. My prediction to you is Ashton Forbes will never do that, because free energy devices don't work. They're fictitious. And it's just great. So we have here a screenshot. This is where Ashton, he says, this image is not 14 years old. People caught him in his own live chat, sharing a still image from a video that was 14 years old on YouTube. And by the way, the person who built this device bought the plans on eBay. So Ashton is claiming that he's selling a device that anybody can buy the plans to on eBay and build themselves for a couple of bucks. But don't waste your money, because the device doesn't work. Ashton is using something called the Hayden device, which was patented but never proved that it worked. People have been trying to reproduce it. Nobody's ever been able to reproduce it in working form. This is the device. The very device that Ashton is claiming he's going to be selling is the same device that people have been building for at least 15 years, and not one of them has been able to show it working. What should that tell you about this magic device that Ashton Forbes claims he's going to start selling for, what was it, $50,000, right? Okay. All right, and here is from the person who actually made the video. No, I am not affiliated with Mr. Forbes in any way, shape, or form. I've never met him or communicate with him or anyone else for many years regarding this device. This is not my invention. I replicated this device based on plans I bought on eBay from a man named Yannick Van Doom. This is Yannick's YouTube channel. By the way, this person who made the video of the device that doesn't work bought his plans from Yannick Van Doom. Do you know who Yannick Van Doom is, Ashton Forbes? Do you know Vetted Guy? Did you do any research? Yannick Van Doom is a free energy scammer who sells plans that don't work to stupid people. And the original device was created by a man named Hayden, who lives in France. Now, anybody can look up the Hayden free energy device. Everybody's free. Let's have a scavenger hunt. Go find me a working Hayden free energy device, because this is the exact device that Ashton Forbes claimed that he would be selling for $50,000. Go find me a working one, Ashton Forbes. You've claimed that that's what you're going to be selling. And this is the problem. And by the way, Vetted, why do I have to do this research for you? Why couldn't you do the research and find out that that video, the still image of the device that Ashton Forbes is showing people as proof he has a free energy device, came from a hobbyist who 14 years ago made a video. And by the way, the device didn't work when he made the device from plans he bought on eBay, from a person who scams people with fake free energy devices on eBay. Why didn't you tell your audience that, Vetted guy? Why didn't you tell your audience that this whole device is based on unproven technology that didn't work 14 years ago and doesn't work now? Why couldn't you do that, Vetted guy? You vet things, right? Apparently you didn't vet the free energy scam claims of your guest. Just like you don't vet the Nazca mummies stuff, right? Just like you don't vet Jeremy Corbell claims or Jon Stewart alien interview claims. No, Vetted is there to sell fake shit. That's what the Vetted guy does. He sells fake shit to stupid people. And I'm sorry, but if you're watching Vetted, you are a low information viewer. And he loves low information viewers who won't check into anything. Because, by the way, I'm not special, but if you check into Ashton's claims, you'll find the same thing I did. That Ashton is lying to everybody on a public live stream. Here's a still image of the device we're going to be selling. And I stole the still image from a video on YouTube that's 15 years old and doesn't work. It's beautiful. And then the Vetted guy shows up, bottom feeder that he is. Ashton, can I make a couple bucks off this shit too? Come on my show with this. I'll make a couple bucks too so I can keep eating, because I'm a loser who can't do any research. I'm dumb as rocks, and I have to sell hoaxes every day so I can eat every day. I feel sorry for that Vetted guy. I really do. He's got to sell Ashton Forbes nonsense with a straight face in order to eat every day. It is wonderful, friends. I have some more to share with you here. So Ashton Forbes said, I already showed a video of a magnet motor over Unity device. No one could debunk it. What more do you need? I've shown more than enough already. I just debunked it, Ashton Forbes. You don't have a working device. You are a liar and a scammer. And you can prove you're not. Show us a working device. Show us a working device. And by the way, when you see who Ashton Forbes' partner is with this Ether company, he's going to be selling these fake free energy devices. Oh, it is a cavalcade of carnival bullshittery. His partner is a secret space program promoter, among other fake things, who claims he's a defense intelligence contractor. By the way, Ashton Forbes, do you know it's illegal for you as a principal owner of a company to make completely false claims while trying to sell a product? Do you know that? Do you have proof that your partner actually is a defense intelligence agency contractor? Can we see the contracts? And by the way, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. But based on the fact that every time Ashton Forbes opens his mouth, you can prove he's lying, I don't believe that his partner in this free energy device thing actually was a defense intelligence contractor. And by the way, just like Ashton Forbes, his partner in this free energy company has no physics degree, no science degree, no electrical engineering degree, no electronics technology degree. He has no formal education in science whatsoever. But we're supposed to believe that a guy like that somehow beat every educated scientist and was able to crack free energy. He says, both. I did a live stream where I played the video repeatedly. It's part of the reason I'm pulling back. Apparently, quite a few entities didn't realize the video was online. I push things as far as I want to for now. You mean you pushed a scam and a hoax as far as you want to? What you showed was somebody else's video. It wasn't a video of a device that's in your possession. And by the way, we're going to see on this Vetted podcast, the Vetted guy actually asks him, well, I guess you'll be one of the early adopters, like you could power your house from it. And Ashton makes excuses. Oh, well, no, my living situation really wouldn't allow me to use this to power my home. So what you're saying is you have a working free energy device, but you're just going to pay your electric bill every month, even though you have the means to get rid of that bill out of your life. Or is it that Ashton Forbes lives with his mommy and daddy and streams from the basement, and mommy and daddy won't let him hook up fake science devices to their power grid in the basement, right? It's so stupid. How could anybody believe this Ashton Forbes clown? We'll come back to that. Now, I'm going to share these on my Twitter. I get it. They're difficult to read. But these are threads that are talking about this HATEM device. And in every thread you find, I'm sorry, that's weird. In every thread that you find on this HATEM device, what you find out is that they don't work. Ask anybody that's into free energy. They don't work. And by the way, Ashton, I did a whole series on free energy and what a scam it is. And I've built many of the free energy devices from plans on eBay, just like the person you stole your video from. In fact, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I had a YouTube channel that was like electronic stuff and free energy stuff. I deleted the channel because I didn't want to mislead people. Free energy is fake. But if you do a little research into this device that Ashton claims he's going to be selling, everybody says that everybody that built one from the plans, which by the way are now publicly available in public domain, that they don't work. The device doesn't work no matter who builds it. It doesn't work, Ashton. It doesn't work. Why are you lying to people and claiming you have a device without showing it? You have to show a still from a video that isn't even your partner's or yours, from a 14-year-old video. That's what you have to show to prove to people that you have a working free energy device. That is the piss poor evidence. Listen, and let's be clear. Claiming to have a working free energy or over unity device is a huge, monstrous claim. Kind of like technology that can teleport huge jumbo jets out of the sky is a huge claim. Ashton makes huge claims. And what's his evidence? Well, for MH370, it's fake videos. What's his evidence that he has the capability of creating free energy devices? Well, I took a still image from a 14-year-old YouTube video that's not mine or my partner's or any of my associates. You know, that's our proof. Some guy posted a video 14 years ago of the device we're going to sell, but it didn't work. And we took a still image from that to show people that we have a device. It's so stupid and childish. And let's get to, before I forget, let's get to Vetted guy. Listen, there's only one excuse that the Vetted guy could use for being so stupid to platform all this. Did you vet that Ashton Forbes was lying about having a free energy device? Did you vet that he has no evidence or proof that he has a working actual device? Did you do any research, Mr. Vetted, into the HATEM device and the numerous people who have built it and said it doesn't work? By the way, I've reached out to a few for interviews. We're going to interview people who have built a device and says it does not work. Now, we can find a multitude of people who built the device from the publicly available plans that Ashton claims he's going to be building or selling his device, the same device. We can find a multitude of people who have built it and said it does not work, Vetted guy. But Ashton and you can't show me one person who built it and proved that it works. And I mean proof. I don't mean claims. Prove it works. Prove it works. Patent it. Prove it works. Get the United States Department of Weights and Measures to measure the device and certify that it is creating more energy than you are inputting. Prove it. You can't and you won't. And especially because this Vetted guy is a full-time hoax promoter. His only defense is for what he does, this Vetted guy. There's no defense for what this Vetted guy does. He promotes hoaxes and scams. And do you know, Vetted Guy, that you could put yourself in legal jeopardy here helping Ashton promote this? If somebody buys that device and gets ripped off for $50,000, do you think that they might not include you in the people that they take legal action against for promoting this fake device that is essentially a 14, 15, 20-year-old device that never worked then and doesn't work now? But I love that the Dunce Hoax Promoter Defense. This is the same Patrick. This vetted clown uses the same defense that Third Phase of Moon used. Number one, I am so dumb I didn't know it was a hoax. These are his only available outs for promoting this hoax. And remember, listen, anybody could get fooled once. Fool me once, shame on me. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Anybody can get fooled once, but all this Vetted guy does is promote hoaxes. All his videos are about proving fake shit, and we're going to show you some of that tonight. So the Vetted guy's only defense for promoting this hoax with Ashton is the Dunce Hoax Promoter Defense. Number one, I'm so dumb I didn't know it was a hoax. And by the way, Vetted guy, you can either admit that you intentionally promoted a hoax to make money, because that's what I believe you did, or you can use this, your only defense, the Dunce Hoax Promoter Defense. Number two, I'm so lazy I can't do 5 minutes of research before running with a completely and totally fake story. Number three, I'm so dumb I cannot do any research at all. Because anybody who had done any research at all into Ashton's free energy claims would find that that device doesn't work. Vetted guy, it doesn't work. It's fake. And you helped him potentially find more victims that he is going to allegedly defraud for, what is it, $50,000 for this device that everybody that builds it says doesn't work, but Ashton's got one that works? Sure. Number four, I am so dumb and lazy, I promote hoaxes by accident, of course. Just like Third Phase of Moon, this Vetted guy pretends, hey, well, I didn't know. I wasn't fully informed. It's your job. This is your full-time job, running your show. Are you this piss poor lazy or this dumb as rocks? 5 minutes of research can find out that this device is fake. 5 minutes of research can find out that Ashton stole a screenshot from a video of somebody that bought plans on eBay and built it and said it doesn't work. It doesn't work, vetted clown. Number five, I am so dishonest and unethical that I pretend I'm too dumb and lazy to do 5 minutes of research before promoting a hoax. This is the Vetted guy's only hope. There's only two choices here, Vetted guy. Either you intentionally promote hoaxes, disinformation, misinformation, and literal scams in order to put some money in your pocket, or number five, you are so dishonest and unethical that you're going to pretend that you're too dumb and lazy to do 5 minutes of research before promoting a hoax. Those are your two choices. Which is it, Vetted guy? Are you intentionally promoting fake shit to make money? Clickbait garbage peddler that you are? Or are you going to sit there and pretend that you're too dumb and too lazy to do 5 minutes of research when this is your full-time job? Do you care about your audience, or do you just want to shovel more shit down their throats, you asshole? Are you kidding me? This is your full-time job? And by the way, let's be clear. This is not my full-time job, and yet I had the time to do the research into Ashton's false claims, disinformation, misinformation, and fake devices, with him stealing screenshots from videos that have nothing to do with him or the people he claims to be selling this device from. I don't do this full-time, Vetted guy, but I had the time, and you know why? Because I care. I care about my audience. I don't just do a stream shitting disinformation all over my audience every single day like you do. Why are you here? We don't need more takers. Did you think you're just going to waltz in here and sell fake shit to stupid people every day to make a living? No, I don't think so. And by the way, we'll get back to that. So, there's no excuse for this Vetted guy not vetting the claims. Your show is called Vetted. Where's the vetting at? You got to change your show to Grift It. I think we're gonna start like a petition. I don't care if you do what you do if you change your show to Grift It, because then people will know before they click on your video that they're about to get grifted by a hoax promoting loser who can't do 5 minutes of research. I'm going to go and start a petition that we change your show to Grift It. You can't keep calling your show Vetted and do no vetting, no research, no investigation into the claims. But see, here's the game. This vetted clown wants to just show up and get paid for doing zero work. That's what he wants. He is a lazy slob, just like Third Phase of Moon and every other hoax promoter. And we can tell that he doesn't care about his audience, because if he did, he wouldn't be shoveling misinformation down their throats every day. He doesn't have time. Come on. This is your full-time job. Make the time, you clown, garbage peddler, hoax promoter. We're going to take a moment to recognize some kind and generous people. Rotary Motion with a kind and generous £2. Vetted Space Cadet Grifter. Ashton is off his meds. Well, we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. And we also thank Penn Taxenstein, who became a YouTube channel member. For those unaware, if you become a YouTube channel member during a live broadcast, we give you a big shout out. And we also would like to thank Rotary Motion for a kind and generous £2 super chat. For those unaware, we're a viewer-supported show. And unlike this clown who is making all this money off of clickbait and selling fake shit, how much money did you make? Oh, we'll look into that. I'm going to explain to you why the Vetted guy sells fake shit. We're going to go through some of his videos, and we're going to do a little math and show you how much money he's making selling this fake nonsense. And by the way, Vetted guy, is this what are your parents proud of you? Whoa, our son, he's doing great on YouTube. Do they know that what you do is sell fake shit to stupid people? They must be real proud of you, right? Do you go to your mom every day? Call mom? Yeah, I'm selling a new fake free energy device with this Ashton guy who sold fake videos, hoax videos for a year. Yeah, I'm going to make lots of money, Mom, selling my fake nonsense. All of us must choose which path we're going to take. You made your choice, Vetted guy. I believe there's a road to redemption for everybody, though. You got to give your audience the rest of the story. And if you don't, then my assessment of you being a garbage peddling, hoax promoting, disinformation peddler is correct. You can correct the record. I don't think he will, right? And by the way, why are you deleting comments when people are commenting? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I forgot to praise the cash. So we read every super chat. We thank everybody. Thanks, Rotary Motion, for your kindness, generosity, and support. And thanks, Penn Taxenstein, for becoming a YouTube channel member. Thank you both for helping us to praise the cash. We read every super chat. Get them in, friends.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we're going to continue in our journey here. And I got more stuff to share with you. But before we do that, I do have some thoughts on the methods that people like this Vetted guy use to sell fake information, false information, and more. And I'm going to share that with you. Okay, so 1 second here. And by the way, Vetted just recently is promoting the claims of Glenn Dennis. You remember him. He's the mortician that lived in the Roswell area that made a lot of claims that were proven completely and totally fake. I mean, I have to be fair in that I don't know this Vetted guy well enough to know. Is he purposefully promoting hoaxes, or is he really this stupid? Those are the only two choices. The only two choices is that the Vetted guy is purposefully platforming and promoting hoaxes because he's just that stupid and that dumb and that lacking in any critical thinking, or he's doing it intentionally for money. And both choices are very scary. It's ethically and morally disgusting if he's doing this on purpose for money. And it's equally kind of gross and just sad if he's this stupid that he's doing this by accident because he's this dumb. Now we'll talk about a critical examination of the Vetted podcast, who platforms hoaxes and complete and total fake stories, misinformation and disinformation on an almost daily basis. In the age of digital media, podcasts have emerged as a powerful medium for storytelling and information dissemination. However, not all podcasts adhere to rigorous standards of truth and accuracy, or even any standards, to be honest. If we critically examine this Vetted podcast show host, we've realized that his show is notorious for platforming hoaxes, completely and totally provably fake stories, and dubious characters, many of which have been caught selling completely totally fake stories before. And isn't it interesting that every time this Vetted guy talks about a certain character that has been caught selling completely and totally fake stories, like Ross Coulthard or Jeremy Corbell, he forgets to tell his audience that this source of information is garbage and has been caught selling fake information before. He platforms dubious characters who are garbage peddlers. So he's essentially jumping into the dumpster with the misinformation and disinformation garbage peddlers. Next, by analyzing the methods that this Vetted show host uses to show, pardon me, by analyzing the methods used by the show to present these narratives, which are false narratives, we can expose him for a complete and total lack of thorough research, or any research at all, and the deliberate omission of counter evidence. That's the lie by omission, and the broader implications of promoting misinformation. Okay, moving on. So podcasts have become a significant source of entertainment and information for millions of listeners worldwide. Among these, the Vetted podcast has gained a following for its sensationalized clickbait stories and controversial topics. However, a closer look reveals a troubling pattern of Vetted promoting hoaxes and fabrications without any actual proper vetting, any research, fact-checking, or investigation whatsoever. We can delve briefly into the tactics that this show host uses at the Vetted podcast to perpetuate these falsehoods, examining how the show's approach undermines the credibility of legitimate research and fuels the spread of disinformation, misinformation, and false narratives. So there are some methods of misrepresentation that both the Vetted show host use and other people like Third Phase of Moon. All these garbage peddlers use these same tactics. First is selective storytelling. One of the primary methods employed by the Vetted podcast is selective storytelling. The show often presents only one side of the narrative, carefully curating information to support the most sensational and compelling version of events. By omitting crucial facts and evidence that contradict the story, the Vetted show host creates a misleading impression of credibility and truthfulness. This selective presentation is a form of intellectual dishonesty that deceives listeners and viewers into believing his completely fabricated or exaggerated tales. And let's be clear, we've covered this many times before. This is how the UFO scammers work. It's called the lie by omission. This guy talks about Jeremy Corbell's latest video, but he forgets to tell you that Jeremy Corbell also promoted a convicted pimp fake scientist to the tune of millions of dollars that never worked for the government. He forgets to tell you that Jeremy Corbell has been caught promoting completely and totally fake UFO videos over and over and over and over again. It's the lie by omission. Then Of course, there is what I believe is the purposeful lack of any fact-checking or vetting. The Vetted podcast frequently platforms guests who make bold, evidence-free claims. These guests, often self-proclaimed experts or witnesses, are given a platform to share their stories without any critical scrutiny whatsoever. The host's failure to challenge these claims or provide context leads to the dissemination of unverified and often completely fake and debunked stories. This lack of fact-checking not only misleads the audience, but also lends undue legitimacy to dubious figures. And then, of course, there is the vetted show host's role in promoting misinformation. Is there a deliberate ignorance? A significant factor in the Vetted podcast promotion of hoaxes is the host's deliberate ignorance. By purposefully avoiding in-depth research or any research at all, or any fact-checking at all, any investigating at all, the host creates an environment where fantastical stories can flourish without any burden of proof. This approach allows the host to present tales as more credible than they are, exploiting the audience's trust and curiosity. Of course, there is the omission of contradictory evidence. In many cases, the host of the Vetted podcast actively omits or forgets to mention information that would debunk or discredit the stories being presented. This deliberate exclusion of counter evidence is a calculated move, in my opinion. It's used by all the clickbait, sensational garbage promoters like Vetted. It's used to maintain the allure of the narrative and prevent listeners or viewers from questioning its veracity. By controlling the flow of information that viewers get, the host ensures that the most sensational elements of the story are highlighted and amplified, while inconvenient facts that prove the stories are fake are conveniently ignored and left out of his broadcasts. Of course, there is an impact of his platforming hoaxes. And let's be clear, this guy promotes hoaxes constantly. He's promoting Ashton Forbes now. Before that, it was the Ron James toys. He showed pictures of toys, of models, claiming they were real UFO photos. And this idiot let him. Did no fact-checking, nothing. Then there is, there's the alien mummy hoaxes, the alien interview hoaxes, and how many other hoaxes. And we're going to show you some examples of that and why this person is trash. Sorry, not sorry. And by the way, a lot of people expect me to be more diplomatic, be more kind. I have no obligation to be kind to garbage peddling shit peddlers who lie to their audience on a daily basis for cash. I have no obligation to be kind to people like that. They're liars, grifters, and scammers. Would you be kind to somebody lying, grifting, or scamming your grandmom? Neither would I. I have no obligation to be diplomatic or kind to these people. The Vetted podcast promotion of hoaxes and false narratives constantly contributes to the erosion of public trust in media and information sources. When listeners repeatedly encounter fabricated stories presented as the truth, their ability to discern credible information from falsehoods diminishes. This erosion of trust is particularly damaging, I should say, in an era where misinformation can have significant real-world consequences. Then, of course, there's the exploitation of the audience. For sure, this Vetted guy is exploiting the audience. By presenting sensational but false stories, the Vetted podcast exploits its audience's fascination with the extraordinary. And this exploitation not only misleads listeners and viewers, but it also encourages a culture of cynicism and skepticism towards real, legitimate research and evidence. The show's prioritization of entertainment and sensationalism over truth undermines the integrity of real storytelling and information dissemination. So just to conclude and we're going to get to the video, I'm not sure how much of it we're going to go through. The Vetted podcast serves as a cautionary example of how podcast show hosts can be completely and totally unethical and immoral. And some would say even cross the line into consumer fraud by manipulating their audiences. And it's an example of how media producers can be manipulated to spread misinformation and promote hoaxes. through selective storytelling, a lack of fact-checking, and the deliberate omission of contradictory evidence, this Vetted show creates a distorted reality that captivates but ultimately does nothing but deceive every audience member. It's imperative for listeners to approach such content with skepticism and demand higher standards from show hosts, especially full-time show hosts. They should demand higher standards from full-time show hosts when it comes to truth and accuracy in the media that they promote. All right. 1 second here. I don't know what that was about. I apologize. So now we're going to get into some of the video, but I have to take a moment to thank Rotary Motion, who just gifted a free membership. For those unaware, you should hit the subscribe button. People keep gifting free memberships. And by the way, I'm making one Patreon and members only video a week now because we have just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new members, thanks to people gifting all these memberships. But for those unaware, when people gift memberships, they get randomly distributed to people who are subscribers of our channel, but not yet YouTube channel members. So hit that subscribe button and you may get a free membership from Rotary Motion. Thank you, Rotary Motion.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Oh, I forgot. I have to get to the Twitter stuff first. I've retweeted a lot of things. And I was going to say earlier that since this Vetted show host wants to attack me, and by the way, I never did anything to him, never said anything to him, didn't even know who he was. So all of this tonight is his fault. He put himself on my radar. Let me get to some of the things on Twitter. 1 second here. Another reason that I think it's important that no one should platform Ashton. He has repeatedly proven, oh, look at that. Pentaxin Sign gifted 5 Truth Seekers memberships. So there you go. There are now 6 free memberships up for grabs. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you too are eligible. And thank you all for helping us to praise the cash.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Praise the cash. Pentaxenstein, who not only became a member themselves, but gifted 5 free memberships. Very generous of you. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Okay, so there's some things in my Twitter that I thought we should share. First of all, Ashton keeps getting suspended on Twitter. And why does he keep getting suspended on Twitter? Because he's threatening people. He is threatening people. Turd Ferguson says, going to be a significant headwind for the Magic Free Energy Machine commercial funnel. All those hot Twitter leads down the drain. Yeah. So Twitter found violations in his account. Those violations are him threatening people or threatening to dox people. And we're going to get into more proof of that. Mr. Vetted podcast host, why are you platforming somebody that keeps threatening people who say that free energy isn't real on Twitter? Why are you platforming somebody who correctly says that those MH370 videos are fake? And, why are you platforming Ashton, who is threatening people who say those videos are fake? Embers to ashes. 1 second. And here is the research that Vetted didn't do before platforming Ashton. In spite of what Ashton Forbes is claiming, he has not shown a video of a real over Unity device. The device in question was open source, and all builds have proven not to work. So there's multiple researchers who are now coming forward, besides myself, and confirming that this magic device that Ashton Forbes is selling, it does not work, friends. It doesn't work. So isn't that interesting that I can find that information, but the Vetted show host can't find out that the magic device that Ashton is trying to sell everybody, it does not work. Isn't that interesting? How come he cannot show, he can't do 5 minutes of research to find the same things I did? And by the way, here's those documents I shared earlier. Doesn't sound like the guys in the emails below had much success, does it? Shockingly enough, either did the fella in the following video, who also made his own. And to be clear, I say this with the utmost respect to Leon Hayden, who passed away a couple of years ago, and to the best of my knowledge, made no attempt to grift. No, the person who invented this device essentially open sourced it. And boy, isn't it interesting that we have a proven hoax promoter promoting yet another hoax. And, you know, listen, I just don't understand the Vetted guy. Like, you know, Ashton promotes fake shit. Why would you bring him on your show unless, oh, I know what it was. You wanted to jump in and get your piece of the money, right? You wanted to get a couple of bucks out of this, out of Ashton's grift too, right? Is that what it is? It appears that that's what it is. And just bear with me 1 second, friends. So multiple people have looked into this device. Multiple people try to build it. Nobody's been able to successfully build it. But we're all supposed to believe that Ashton Forbes did. All the other people that built it weren't able to get it working, right? But Ashton Forbes, a man with no science training, no science degree, no, qualifications insofar as electronics engineering or anything like that. And by the way, maybe I'll build this device from plans just to show everybody it doesn't work. Let me know in the comments, should I build this device from plans? They're open source now, just so that we can prove once and for all that the device doesn't work. And let's be clear, that's the device that Ashton is claiming that he's going to be selling people for $50,000, a device that's been open sourced for many years and no one has been able to get working. I'm going to say that one more time. The device that Ashton Forbes is claiming he's going to sell for $50,000 is essentially a device that does not work. But Ashton is going to sell it to people for $50,000. Nobody else has been able to get it working. But Ashton Forbes, a man who spent the last year promoting fake hoaxes, he got it working, right? And we're just supposed to trust me, bro. I got it working, right? I don't think that Ashton Forbes can solder a single solder point on a circuit board. But somehow we're supposed to believe that he cracked free energy devices when everybody else trying to build that device failed miserably, right? Okay, and here's another thing. We're going to get to this. So what do you all want to talk about? How about the fact that Dave Rossi is Ashton's partner in this. He's a self-purported ex-DOD contractor, appears to be the mysterious entity that Ashton has partnered with in his over Unity grift. And if we go Dave Rossi, we can see that on YouTube, Ashton Forbes has interviewed this Dave Rossi twice. He is a self-taught pseudoscientist. He's not a real scientist. 1 second. And I'm going to show you some interesting things about his partner. Now, in Ashton's videos, he claims that Dave Rossi is a Department of Defense contract engineer. Can you prove that? And he runs the Generation Z podcast. That's what I want to show you. I want to show you the Generation Z podcast. Now, remember, Ashton Forbes is claiming that him and his partner are going to sell everybody free energy devices for $50,000. Now, oh, this is going to be good. Let's share this tab. This is his partner from Generation Z podcast. And look who he's promoting. Linda Moulton Howe, Alternative Black Sun, Hollow Forms, The Sphinx, The Unseen Hand of Human History, a deep dive conversation. Human Vibration, Cult of the Black Cube. Look at this. Jay Widener, great. Oh, that person is promoting Ross Coulthart claims. The guy who's been caught selling at least, he's interviewing Coulthart. And in this interview, he doesn't mention to Ross Coulthart that Ross Coulthart's been caught selling at least 5 completely and totally fake stories. Nope. All he did was lick Ross Coulthart's asshole. He interviewed Lou Elizondo and never bothered to mention that Lou Elizondo is a fake program director, right? And where it gets interesting is here he is promoting secret space program whistleblowers. And this person, Dave Rossi, also has some interesting claims about blue aliens. This is the person that is Ashton's partner in his free energy grift. A guy who's promoting secret space program nonsense. A guy who's promoting Ross Coulthart and Linda Moulton Howe. This is his partner, a garbage peddler. So it's no wonder that Ashton went on a garbage peddle show like Vetted to promote this nonsense. It's no wonder. Listen, Ashton, do you want to talk about how your partner believes Corey Goode stories and secret space program nonsense? I'm the guy who busted Corey Goode's stories as completely and totally fake with those depositions, right? But your partner is a guy who's promoting secret space grifters, storytellers, right? Talking about their battles on Mars or whatever bullshit. It's funny. His partner in this free energy grift is essentially a garbage peddler. So it's no surprise that one garbage peddler would get together with another garbage peddler in order to promote this nonsense. Yeah. One second. I thought we had some other information to share on him, but I think that's enough. Hey, Vetted show host, did you know that Ashton's partner in this free energy company is a garbage peddler like you who promotes fake grifters selling fake nonsense, disinformation, and misinformation? Did you know that? Well, now you do. So that's another nail in the coffin of this free energy thing. I don't believe Ashton will ever prove any of his claims. And here he is with Ashton on his show, right? And he believes those MH370 videos are real. Ashton's partner does. So you know what that means? That means that Ashton's partner is dumb as rocks, just like Ashton, or just complicit and wants to help his buddy grift off those videos that he knows are fake. Those are the only two possibilities. But I think it's pretty funny. Ashton's partner is a wackadoo. So all you people who hoped maybe that Ashton would have a real or working device, sorry. I think you better think again, because his partner is a complete and total wackadoo that believes in Corey Goode's secret space program tales and other secret space promoters' fake space tales, right? Incredible. So I have a few other things to share from Twitter, and then we're going to get into this video. Yes, this is something that's important too. The owner of the video that Ashton stole the screenshot from updated his video. Donald Conley, the owner of the 14-year-old over Unity device video, has updated his YouTube description to clarify that he has never been affiliated with anyone regarding this device. And shouldn't Ashton apologize for stealing a screenshot from a video that he doesn't own? No, Ashton said that they took the screenshot from a device that was created previously by his business partners. He lied straight on the stream. Did you know that, Vetted dummy? He lied to his audience, but you lie to your audience all the time, don't you, Vetted guy? So, this is no big deal to you. Now people are harassing that guy because he had the balls to say, I don't know who Ashton Forbes is. And so there could be no backtracking later. There are some tweets confirming the entity's affiliation. So the person who made the video that Ashton is sharing a screenshot from says, I have no affiliation with him whatsoever. I don't know why he's taking stills from my video and making these claims. It's wonderful. A couple more things to share, and then we'll get to the video. Okay. Also, Vetted Podcast deleted comments with proof that Ashton's device doesn't work. Vetted Podcast deleted comments proving that Ashton is lying to Vetted's audience. So what's that about, Vetted Podcast hosts? Are you okay with people lying on your show to your audience and you have to delete comments? But this is how the garbage peddler channels work. We have a free speech zone. He has an echo chamber. He knows that he's promoting garbage, so he can't withstand debate or even let his audience see the contradictory information. It's the lie by omission. Some people's goal is to imagine and become, because anything is possible. Others' goal is to sabotage and destroy. Which category does Ashton fall into? And again, Vetted guy, why are you platforming a psychopath like this?
If you are somebody out there who's telling people not to talk to me, you are an absolute piece of shit, and you are one of the worst human beings on the face of the earth. And in the future, if people tell me your name, I'm going to blast you all over social media to my 100,000 followers and on live streams as well. And I'm going to tell people what a piece of shit that you are.
Oh, nice.
So don't do it. Last warning.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I never said that people shouldn't speak to him. And in fact, I have no problem with people platforming him as long as they're going to challenge his fake claims. But if they're going to sit there like Vetted dummy podcast show host, right, and pretend that Ashton isn't lying, that's garbage. That's absolute garbage.
If you're one of the people who's trying to debunk these videos, I am going to send the families after you to sue you for every single fucking penny that you have.
That's what you're platforming there, Mr. Vetted. That's who you're platforming. Somebody who's threatening to sue people who are using facts, evidence, and actual investigatory skills to prove those videos are fake.
This includes Mick West. It includes the Corridor Crew. It includes Jonas DeRoe and any other debunker that puts their real name next to any debunk attempts on these videos. You have been warned. That is what I'm going to do. It's not a threat. It's a promise. I will have them take everything that you have. I will make sure the media crucifies you and make sure that you are to go down in the history books as an enemy of humanity.
This is who you're platforming, Vetted guy. Somebody that can't withstand debate, can't withstand scrutiny, can't withstand questions. Ashton Forbes is an intellectual weakling and a coward. He knows what he is promoting is fake. And somebody commented right on this thread, Ashton is asking his followers to sign an NDA and then put down a significant down payment on the $50,000 device before even seeing it. That's not a good move to gain people's trust. Why do you have to sign an NDA? The plans are publicly available, Ashton, you dumb clown. Do you know that the plans for your secret magic device are readily available on the internet? You can Google them and you can find them in a few minutes. But you're asking people to sign a non-disclosure agreement? Could that be because you don't want people talking about the fact that your device doesn't work? Why do they have to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to buy a device from you? Wouldn't you be proud of it and want people to talk about how great it works? Oh, that's right. It doesn't work. It's fake. Just like those MH370 videos are fake, right? And by the way, Vetted show host guy, were you aware that Ashton is paying people for people's personal information so that he can dox them and sue them? And what was that person's crime that he's doing that to? Saying those MH370 videos aren't real. You are platforming a psychopath. And you are encouraging his psychopathic tactics and behavior. You're saying it's okay. You're co-signing. I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that this Vetted show host needs money so badly that he has to platform garbage peddlers like Ashton Forbes in order to eat. And you know what? I'm going to start a food bank for this Vetted show host. We're going to start a canned good drive. We'll send him some, cans of beans or chili. We're not going to let you eat for free, like real good, but we'll send you some food so that you could stop being a garbage peddler. I'll send you a box of canned goods every week. I can go through my pantry. I'm sure my wife has some shit in there. She buys a lot of canned soup and stuff that I don't really eat, and a lot of things. And I think that my audience is very generous. Maybe we can get your address and everybody can start sending the Vetted show host food so that he doesn't have to host scammers and grifters every day of his life to eat that day. I think that would be a good thing to do, right? And let's continue. Here is more psychopathic behavior from Ashton Forbes that the Vetted show host is apparently co-signing. He's saying this is okay. I'll platform this guy.
It's not that he thinks he did. He 100% did more than just respond. He made a debunk video. So he's going to lose all his credibility for the rest of his life. It's not my fault.
Everybody who has made a debunk video about the MH370 hoax has maintained their credibility. And meanwhile, Ashton Forbes' credibility is in the shitter, is in the dumpster. But here he is claiming that if you dare to make a debunk video, you're going to lose all your credibility.
We got more. Should we post the next one or should we save the next one? I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to blackmail anyone. I'm just trying to put the information out there as soon as possible.
No, he's not trying to blackmail anybody. He's just doxing people, right? He's just doxing people and threatening people. Why would you dox people? Interesting. And Ashton says, "Oh, I'm not doxing. I didn't dox anybody." Yeah. Here he is. If anybody can get me T-Pal's real identity confirmed, I'll shoot you $50 in Cash App. Direct message me. I'm going to sue him for defamation. I don't even care if he has nothing to take. At least I'll make him spend all his money on lawyers. The reward is up to $150. Apparently, I'm not the only one who wants his information to sue him. We're already close to finding him. Thanks for the assistance. Send any info you have about him to narrow it down. I think we got him. Took under an hour. And here's one of his unhinged followers. Get him. That's the Orb Up version of F around and find out. No? So congratulations, Vetted show host. You are platforming scammers who are paying for people's personal information so that he can terrorize them with lawfare tactics and sue them for defamation, for having the audacity to say that those videos are fake. And let's be clear, Vetted clown, they are fake. Those videos are fake, just like Ashton's free energy device is fake, that you were too dumb to realize was fake before rushing in to get your couple of bucks so that you could eat today. What a loser. You know, what level of depravity, what lack of morality and ethics, what a disgusting, despicable scumbag you have to be to say to yourself, I could get a real job or I could just sell fake shit to stupid people every day. And then I don't need a real job. And then I could pretend I can't do any research because I have to put out a show every day so I can keep eating, right? No, if your full-time job is to run your show, you should have plenty of time to do this research and find all these things that I found. Why aren't you giving your audience the entire story, Vetted clown? Why are you only sitting there like an idiot while Ashton grifts on your show? Could it be so you could get a piece of the grift, you loser? Ridiculous. That's what we're at, the point of ridiculousness. And let's be clear, Anybody who is platforming Ashton is encouraging his behavior. Anybody who platforms him is helping him to defraud people for a device that never worked 15 years ago, for a device that many people have built and proven doesn't work from publicly available plans, right? It's incredible. Incredible. I just don't even know what else to say. We're going to get to the video. I don't know how much of the video we're actually going to get through. I'm going to put my fair use banner up, and let's be clear. Sometimes these garbage peddlers really don't like when I use their own show to make them look like ass clowns to their own audience. So they falsely copyright claim me. We have won every single false copyright claim. I have excellent lawyer letters standing by. We're going to put our fair use banner up, and we're going to get to the video where the vetted show host left out all the information and let Ashton sit there and lie to his audience for an hour straight, a little over an hour. I think that, birds of a feather. Of course, this guy is helping Ashton promote a complete and total provable hoax. So this is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. And by the way, I just want to be clear, Mr. Vetted, should you falsely copyright strike my channel, I will appeal on the basis of fair use, and I will win. We have won every single time somebody falsely copyright claimed us, we have won. And in several instances, including Jimmy Church's case, the copyright strike reverted to his channel. So if you want to strike on your channel, strike me for sharing this video. It's a publicly available video. And we are informing the public that you, sir, are a garbage peddler who does no vetting, does no fact checking, does no research, and just shows up to get paid while people promote garbage. And that is in the public's best interest. So this is educational work. We'll be critiquing and talking about this video that we are sharing. And by the way, maybe you should educate yourself on free energy before you actually promote free energy. I've done an excellent deep dive into free energy scams and claims of the past, and you would benefit from that. I know that I know you're a full-time show host, and you definitely have time to spend 5 hours watching a video. Like, for example, you should have done that the night before you hosted a new free energy guy. You should have looked at the history of all the free energy people that came before him and how many of them proved their claims, but you didn't.
Free energy, 0 point energy, vacuum energy. Today's episode, we're going to learn what those terms mean.
No, you're going to let Ashton tell you what those terms mean. A man who has no education in electronics or physics. But hey, congratulations, Vedic guy. You learned the buzzwords of free energy scams and the buzzwords that all free energy scammers use to sell their fake nonsense. So congratulations. He did take the time to learn the buzzwords before promoting fake garbage.
I brought on Ashton Forbes, who you may know from the MH370 videos.
Yes. So you're knowingly bringing on somebody that promoted a hoax for over a year now. A 100% provable hoax.
To understand what this episode is going to be about, I thought I'd show a clip from a renowned expert talking about it.
Yes. And the renowned expert hasn't been able to prove that he has a device that works.
0 point energy.
0 point energy is a technology.
Oh, yeah. This is the renowned expert, the guy from Limp Bizkit. And I get it. Maybe he makes a joke about that, but this is the dummies that they use. Oh, well, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit said free energy is real. So let's put that in there.
Technology that's been around for a long time, that's been kind of dark shelved and buried, that you could take energy from the vacuum in space to power everything we need.
Okay.
Yes, sounds good. And you know that saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That was Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, but he makes a really good point, right?
He makes an uninformed point. a man that has no training in science saying that these things are real, when every physicist on Earth that actually investigates these comes away saying that it's all a scam, Patrick.
Check out these other clips.
The technology to create unlimited, clean, free energy has existed for over 100 years.
Your tea glass there, that mug.
Oh, and this is great. He cites Stephen Greer. Hey, vetted guy, did you do any research into Stephen Greer's free energy claims before you ran with them? Did you know that Stephen Greer years ago created something called the Orion Project, in which he defrauded the public, allegedly defrauded the public out of more than $500,000 to create a free energy device? And then he never created a device. What happened to all that money, vetted podcast host? Do you know? Do you know what happened to over $500,000 that Stephen Greer allegedly defrauded the public out of to create a free energy device with his Orion project? And then he never created it. Then Dr. Stephen Greer went on to grift another $500,000 to make a film about free energy that you talk about on your show like it's great. That means that you just promoted somebody who collected $1 million from the public for free energy and never proved shit. That's how dumb as rocks the Vetted podcast show host is. He's so dumb as rocks that he talks about Stephen Greer's energy film like it's great. And Ashton mentions Stephen Greer's energy claims, but they just forget to tell you that Stephen Greer collected a verifiable over $1 million for free energy, and he never showed a working device. He never open sourced and gave that device to the world like he promised when he was collecting the first $500,000. And by the way, I don't believe he spent $500,000 to make that free energy garbage film that he made. It's all stock images and a couple of interviews that could have been made for $10,000. What happened to the rest of the money? Do you know, grifted show host? Do you know Ashton Forbes? No, because none of you actually do any real research, but we do here, and we have detailed those things with all the evidence here on our previous shows covering Dr. Stephen Greer's free energy claims.
The amount of potential energy in the space in that mug is enough energy to boil off all the oceans of the earth.
And that is a long time free energy grifter. And that thing he said, oh, the energy in an empty teacup is enough to boil off all of the oceans of Earth. Nobody's ever proven that, but they all use that fake line. And here is Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Bearden, who spent decades talking about promoting free energy, getting paid to speak about free energy. But he, after decades, could never prove that he had a working device. But let's quote a guy who made all this money and for years promoted this stuff, but has never proven anything. That's our proof. Another grifter.
Our engineers are taught to throw away about 10 trillion times for a typical average case as much energy as they pull out of the vacuum without even knowing it in a generator and a battery.
So, without further ado, let's welcome Ashton Forbes to Vetted.
Well, what great information sources. A free energy grifter, Fred Dersh, and another free energy grifter. That's his proof. That's this show host's proof that free energy is real. Some grifters said it, and Fred Dersh from Limp Bizkit said it's true. Now let's bring on twice proven hoax promoter Ashton Forbes to tell us about his magic free energy device. And his only proof was a still image that he stole from somebody else's 14-year-old YouTube video.
Enjoy. Got Ashton in the house. We're going to be talking free energy. What does that mean? I don't have to pay for energy anymore? I honestly don't know what that means. I probably will get it wrong if I try to describe it. So brought Ashton on. We could
probably because you're dumb as rocks.
Talk about what this means and how he's involved and what he's got coming up with it. I find it very fascinating, and I cannot wait for this conversation. So let's jump in. What's up, Ashton?
Hey, Pat. How's it going, man?
Awesome, man. So excited to talk about this, dude. Yeah. What do I like when I hear free energy? I think, oh, like just my electricity bill's gone. Like, what does that mean? Free energy, exactly.
Yeah, it's a great way to start because free energy is a bit of a misnomer, which is why I've been using the term over unity or 0 point energy.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, he's using that term because most people with a brain know that there's no such thing as free energy. Now, some people can argue that solar or wind is free energy, but it's really just a transfer of one form of energy into another. There is no such thing as free energy. So what the free energy scammers do is invent new terms like 0 point energy or over unity device, which generally means in over unity, you're getting more energy out of the device than you're putting in. But Ashton Forbes says these things are possible. He just never proves that they're possible. He's literally, arranging contracts for people to sign non-disclosure agreements and pay him $50,000 for a device that he cannot prove exists or actually works. And in fact, his only proof is a still image video that he stole from somebody else's video, in which the creator of that device said, I built it from plans and it doesn't work. Just like everybody else who built that device from plans said it doesn't work. Patrick from Vetted. Great vetting. Great vetting.
a lot of people think free energy and they think, oh, well, you're just going to have energy for free. And that's kind of true,
Yes.
I guess, but it's more of like, the solar.
That's a great point. Glenn Fritz says he used one video or one clip from the Y files, and he pretty much proves it wrong too. He just didn't show that part. Selective editing. That's what garbage peddlers need to do in order to prove something's real. They selectively edit. He took a clip where they said, where the Y files was talking about the claims being made. He wasn't saying that that's true. Patrick from Vetted, you dumb as rock show host, full-time show host. You're selectively editing in order to sell a fake story. Great job. Great job vetting.
Panels also produce free energy, right? I mean, they produce energy, and
No, they don't
you don't have
produce
to do
free
anything.
energy. It's
but
a transfer
solar
of
panels
energy,
still
you
cost lots
dummy.
of money. I mean, they have discounts and what have you, subsidies, but
Sure.
they still cost a bunch of money. The same is true.
And just to be clear, and I am somebody who's actually built solar panel devices, and I have built solar panel systems at my cabin. I have a backup solar power generator. Solar power is cheaper to power a home than the device that Ashton Forbes is selling. So why would anybody go with untested, unproven, pie in the sky magic free energy devices if they could just buy a solar system for $50,000, for $40,000, for $30,000 that would power the average home just fine? The economics of this make absolutely no sense.
True of free energy. So when free energy, we're not talking about, here's energy for free, although it is similar to the idea of solar panels.
Could be
It's
aliens or
more of
Smiths.
the idea that we can extract energy from our environment all around us. And it's not like wind and
I agree,
solar,
Daisy
where
B.
it's
We'll
like
never
we
have free
this wind
anything.
power and solar power. It's more of like extracting the latent energy that's all around us all the
Sorry,
time.
Plan B,
So,
don't speak
for
French.
example, dark energy is something that we don't really understand, but we know that the universe must have been able to expand faster than the speed of light.
He
I
always
personally
looks
believe that there's a
constipated.
connection
Yeah.
between dark energy and 0 point energy. So 0 point energy would say at the lowest rest levels, at like absolute zero.
And just to be clear, from somebody who has actually studied the claims of free energy people, Ashton Forbes is simply repeating unproven false talking points of other promoters of free energy scams.
There's still stuff going on. And physics would say that you have these quantum fluctuations in the vacuum that are occurring.
Got to use the word
And then
quantum
we have
in
these
your grip.
virtual
That helps.
particles popping in and out of existence. Well, what is a virtual particle? Where does that come from? This is why I brought back the idea of the space-time ether, because space isn't an empty vacuum.
Ether,
There is
abandoned
this latent
science.
0 point energy. We know it's
Abandoned
there.
science.
It's been proven
After
experimentally.
Einstein,
it
everybody with a
exists.
brain abandoned
experiment that
ether.
I
proves
have
it.
heard that about space having, like you're saying, it's not just empty. There's something going on there. And that's, yeah, okay. That's
And
fascinating.
conventional
Sorry.
physics, going back many years. I mean, there's always been people that have promoted the idea of 0 point energy for decades, but conventional physics would look back and say that they negate it. They say that there's not enough there, so they just zero it out. But the universe is extremely big, so even if there's a very tiny amount,
Everybody
if you were to add
is
it up for the whole
Operation
universe,
Shutdown.
you're gonna have this huge amount of energy out there. Now, the
Gotcha.
experiment that proves
David
it
Adair
is
said
the
free
Casimir
energy.
effect.
Yeah, the Casimir effect
is
is
a
a
major
real
player that
thing.
people should.
It's a real thing. You got to inject some actual real science in your grift. Area 503, dude sounds like a drunk high school physics wannabe who bullshits people who have no physics training with theories and pseudoscience. Yes, he does. And Above the Clouds say, true that nothing in life is free, but at least legit discoveries could help ease all, but none of them even ever come even close to, totally scams. I get free energy from the sun at least every day. But it's not truly free energy. That is just a transfer of radiant energy that gets turned into electrical energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can just change forms. And that's what things like solar power or wind power are.
Remember, because if you take two plates, I believe the semiconductive plates, put them close together to one another, very close together, there's this attractive force that causes them to suck together, which would be a negative energy density that occurs. And then the question is, well, where is that energy for that force coming from? And it's coming from the 0-point fluctuations. The explanation is that the wavelengths that are too small to fit between the plates when they're very close together
is what
science
the nonsense
fact that the wavelengths are larger than the distance
scientist.
between them means they can't fit between. And so then you have this differential of the pressure on the outside versus on the
I agree,
inside.
King Bull. Everybody should realize total BS.
Just conceptually, like if you could tap into that, if you could create something that could utilize that,
could be,
then you could theoretically
one
get
part science for every 10 parts
nowhere
grift
from all around us. So that's the overall idea.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
If you suspend two uncharged metal plates,
and now we're going to explain some
you'd
real
expect both plates to stay completely
to go with
still.
the grift. It's
In
one
reality,
part science,
the plates would
10
slightly move
parts
towards
grift.
each other.
Just
This
so
is the
you're
Casimir
aware,
effect.
you got to have
See,
the right
behind the classical
ratio
view
of
of this
science to
example, there's
grift.
the quantum view. Here, the quantum fields of different fundamental particles are constantly interacting with each
Barry,
other.
thanks for being a member.
Although this
says,
interplay of fields is
WTF,
complicated to
what is
fully
he even
understand,
talking about?
the resulting
Yes.
effect is that there are infinitesimally
If you
small reactions
facts,
occurring on the
bamboozle them with
subatomic
grifty
scale.
bullshit.
We
Yeah.
call these reactions
No
virtual
one
particles.
knows what he's saying.
These
Yes.
particle-like entities pop
Now
in
he's
and out of
talking Ken
existence,
Wheeler,
barely ever being
angry
a part of our
photographer
reality.
nonsense.
However, as they interact with
Yes.
each other, they produce extremely small forces. When
Physicists have been looking for free energy for decades, spending billions and not finding it. This guy thinks he could use 50K to open it up. When does
And
the
since there's
movie
more
start?
space on either side of the metal plates than
Yes.
between them, the virtual particles exert a net force that pushes the plates towards each other. So even in a vacuum, the universe announces itself through the Casimir effect.
When did this, or historically, it may be hard to determine, but historically, like how long have people been told? You said decades. Like
People have
when
been
did
grifting
someone
off of
first
this for decades. Yes.
think of this idea? Do we know?
I think if you watched the best video I watched recently, I think you watched it as well, was the Y-Files episode on free energy. Great episode.
Yeah, so awesome, dude.
In that
and in the episode, he
Lloyd
says it's not
Sweet,
real.
had a little like in the middle.
We're going to forget to tell you that Wi-Fi said free energy is not real at the end of his investigation.
I dug into him from the MH370 videos and found out that this guy has been talking about scalar physics and free energy for 40 years ago. And he passed away a couple of years ago as well.
Yes, cure
but
male
he was out there
Kevin
with Floyd Sweet
Hurry
looking
up
at this
before I go
device
cold.
that was running
Get
5
any older.
100-watt bulbs and a fan. And it was just
I
this
like
little box
rather says
that he
Arlene.
had
Yeah.
Now, most people try to
This
debunk
is way
these
worse
types
than
of
Terrace
claims and
Howard.
say
Howard at
that,
least has an
there
education.
must be a
Yeah,
battery
he's a
or
smart
hidden
guy,
wire,
even though he's
because
wrong about a
people
lot of
generally
things.
can't debunk
These two are dumb as
the
rock.
devices themselves.
They deserve to make content together.
And so I would argue that this has
Who's
been
dumber?
around
We should put a
for
poll up.
maybe over 50
Who's dumber,
years, maybe as long as
Ashton
going
or
back
the
to
vetted
Tesla.
guy?
I mean, even Tesla could have figured it out.
Okay, we're going to
because
do that.
in that documentary, and also Patrick Bet David did a documentary as well, and they point out correctly that JP Morgan was the investor in Tesla, and that he didn't invest in this idea of free energy or over unity because you couldn't put a meter on it. You couldn't sell it.
This is another
technically, if
often
you have a
used
device
talking
that's a
point.
free energy
This is
device,
another often used talking point. Oh, JP Morgan shut down Tesla's free energy research. Tesla did very little actual real science or research into free energy. His intention with the Wardenclyffe Tower, if you actually did some research, Ashton, was to transmit energy, not create free energy. and JP Morgan pulled his funding. But it wasn't that JP Morgan was pulling funding for free energy. It was that Tesla was going to broadcast energy through the stratosphere. You are completely and totally misinformed. But hey, don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good grift.
Over unity device. And I just want to clarify, the definition of over unity is coefficient or performance greater than 1.
What
that means is that
Area
you're putting some energy in, but you're getting more energy out than what you're putting into your device.
Got it.
And that's possible because there's a third input, or the second input, an input from the energy all around us, from the ether, if you want to think of it, from the 0-point energy field, etc.
Dumb and Dumber.
And then the interesting part about that is it means that your device doesn't have to be 100% efficient, because you have this input coming in.
No, it has to be more than 100% efficient.
And even if it's 90% efficient, as long as these 2 times 90% is greater than 1, you're getting over unity. You're getting coefficient of performance greater than 1. So I don't know exactly what kind of device Floyd Sweet used, but if you look back, there's been...
He used one that doesn't work, Ashton, or he would have proven that it worked. He never proved that he had a working device. He's mentioning all these free energy grifters from the past. He's just forgetting to tell you that none of the free energy grifters in the history of free energy grifting have ever proven that they had a working device. None of them. Isn't that important when you're talking about a fake branch of science called free energy or over unity or 0-point energy? Isn't it important to know the history and know that everyone who ever made claims like Ashton Forbes, before Ashton Forbes, everyone who ever made claims like this never proved them or showed an actual, real, verifiable working device? Isn't that important, Mr. Vetted? Maybe you should have told your audience that nobody's ever proven they had a real working free energy device. And Ashton, I predict, will be no different, Mr. Vetted.
All kinds of different devices that have claimed to be able to produce over unity. In fact, cold fusion, I believe, is a form of over unity as well. These tokamak reactors, they say, oh,
that is a
like 30 seconds or a minute, they were able to produce coefficient of performance of greater than 1, more energy out than what it took to put into it. I would argue that cold fusion is another form of extracting energy from the 0-point energy field. And I think there's multiple ways.
He has no idea what he's talking about.
I think that you might be able to abuse the Casimir effect, which is something that's probably like a device that doesn't have any moving parts.
Exactly. There's
so the
always
Fulcrum
some
generator
power loss.
is
There's
one
no such
example
thing
that
as
Dr.
100%
Greer has promoted.
device.
I checked out their website. It doesn't have like a ton of specifications, but it does talk about their.
So here Ashton is talking about a device that Stephen Greer, who grifted over $1 million out of the public on free energy device claims and a documentary. Stephen Greer grifted over $1 million and never proved that a device exists that works. But here Stephen Greer is here, Ashton is mentioning him as if that is a verifiable source of information, a guy who grifted over $1 million on free energy claims and never proved anything. That's your information source, Ashton Forbes? Hey, Patrick Vetted guy, did you even know that Stephen Greer grifted over $1 million for free energy and never proved anything? And here you are sitting like a dummy, like a deer in headlights dummy, letting Ashton talk about Stephen Greer's free energy claims that he grifted over $1 million from the public over and never proved anything. Great vetting skills, right? Great job.
There not being any moving parts within it. So you can imagine.
Dr. Greer did a great documentary too, The Lost Century.
Oh, yeah, I watched that recently too. Yeah, that's so there's 3 documentaries people should watch. If people want.
Yeah, what a great documentary. I love that documentary that Stephen Greer grifted $500,000 from the UFO community, mostly, allegedly, to make. Do you know anything about video production? Look at that video and show me where it cost $500,000 to make, Patrick from Vetted. Oh, great documentary. Did you know that he grifted $500,000 to create a free energy device? Then he wasn't able to show that he had any working device, so he waited a bunch of years and then grifted another $500,000 off of people. Patrick from Vetted, did you even know about the Orion project? You need to educate yourself. Do some goddamn research before you platform free energy scams and scammers. Ridiculous. This is your full-time job and you didn't know that? How come I know that? And this is a tiny, tiny part of my business, maybe 10% of my actual business is doing this show. But I was able to do that research, and I know the truth about Greer, and you don't. You're going to promote his garbage on your show like it's a good thing? What a garbage peddling clown.
I want to know our free energy, because like it's making a research.
I'll put the links in the description for that for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I've
Absolutely,
watched
I agree
all
with
3
you.
of those, and
The Patrick Bet David. I know which one you're talking about. I watched that too. You're right. That was
and
great.
he just interviewed Dr. Greer as well recently, and I watched.
you're right.
I don't think I watched the whole thing, but I watched at least like the second half of it.
And let's be clear, no one who ever sold a free energy documentary proved that they had or found a working device. So here these two, Dumb and Dumber, are sitting here going, yeah, it's a great documentary. It's pseudoscience. It's fake. Nobody that produced a free energy device ever proved that there is a working free energy device anywhere on Earth. But here, Dumb and Dumber are telling you what great work that people making the documentaries are doing, promoting pseudoscience garbage.
Which was also really good because it talks about 0 point energy. I mean, people have been talking about it openly. And we'll talk here in a minute about the science behind it and how it's possible.
Yes, let's have a guy with no physics training and no science knowledge or education, just like his partner, a self-taught pseudoscientist. Let's have him explain science to us. Even though what he's saying is counter to what every other scientist, real trained and educated scientist on Earth says, let's let Ashton Forbes, twice proven hoax promoter, explain this mysterious science to us as he's trying to sell us a $50,000 device, but his only proof is a still image that he stole from somebody's 14-year-old YouTube video. Great vetting job, Patrick. Great job.
Just to rebunk any other notions that it's not possible. And generally what I would say is that when you've had these ideas that have been around for as long as these ideas have been, 40, 50, 100 years, like there's most likely something to it. It's not a situation probably where these people were all just coming up independently with this idea and they're all wrong. You know, it's kind of like in UFOlogy. They say that you only need it to be right one time. You know, if you're right one time, then it proves that it's all possible.
Then show us where somebody proved that it was possible once. Ashton, even if it's not your device, show us a working, verifiable free energy device. You can't and you won't because they don't exist. It's pseudoscience. It is snake oil. It is magic beans. That's what free energy or over unity or 0 point devices are.
And in my belief is that, you know, the sun could very well be a proof that over unity is possible by itself.
No, the sun is explained through science. It is a nuclear fission device. It is a perfectly engineered energy device. And it is not a free energy device because it will burn out eventually. It will expend its fuel and burn out. And we have examples of that. So Ashton Forbes doesn't even understand how the sun works, but he's going to create free energy devices and sell them to you for $50,000. And Patrick, the goober here, Mr. Wackadoo promoter, is just going to sit there as Ashton Forbes spews completely factually inaccurate fake science and act like that's possible.
You know,
look, he's nodding his head. Yeah, the sun's a free energy device. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a full-time show host, and I don't know how the sun works. Do some goddamn research, you dummy.
Is, you know, producing more energy out than what's taking in, or you could argue that the reason why the sun can last as long as it is lasting is because it's somehow tapping into the 0 point energy field. We just don't know enough about the sun in general, but
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think because anything that's called fusion could theoretically be producing it. So I don't know for a fact that that's the case, but
sure.
I don't know that this is true, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I'm an idiot and I'm trying to grift off of fake free energy.
I would say that there's probably then at least 3 different ways just off the top of my head that over unity can be produced, which would be cold fusion would be one of them, which is...
Yeah, well, why can't anybody show us a working device then? Why can't you, Ashton? You claim that you have a working device. Show us the working device. Prove us all wrong. You can't and you won't.
You know, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand. The idea of abusing the Casimir force and Casimir effect. You know, maybe you make like a coil or something like that.
Yeah, and listen to this. Oh, well, maybe you just make a coil and then you get free energy out of it. Sounds real scientific there, Ashton Forbes.
That, like, you know, has some type of oscillation or something like that. Or
Oscillation,
I'm not really
that's what
sure. Maybe
makes
there's
the
another
free
way to pull it
energy
off. Thomas Bearden had something called the
is
Meg,
so
and there's
stupid.
a 15-minute or 30-minute video where he talks about it. He even goes into detail about why it's not been able to be commercialized or brought public, and the difficulties and challenges.
And this is the excuses that people give. If you challenge a free energy grifter and say, well, why isn't this been mass produced? Or why can't you show me a working device? What you get is excuses for why. Oh, the men in black, they shelved they make the devices secret. And
associated with it, which primarily, because a lot of people will say, like, if this is real, why have people not been able to produce them? And I would say, first of all, they have been able to produce them, but there's economic and business.
they have been able to reproduce them. Then show me proof of a working device. See, here is where the Vetted podcast host is a dummy. Ashton Forbes just said people have been able to make free energy devices. The first thing that a show host should say when a grifting free energy guest says that is, great, show me some working examples of a free energy device. But the Vetted show host is a garbage peddler like Ashton, so instead of challenging him on a completely and totally false statement, like people have created free energy devices, he just lets them talk. This is grifting 101. This is how the grift works. You gotta just continually let people make unverified, unproven pseudoscience claims.
Business limitations. First of all, if you patent it, you may get hit by the Invention Secrecy Act of, was it 1952?
Yes,
that is something to do with national security, and it has nothing to do with the suppression of free energy.
I wanted to bring that up because that was like, what? Like,
yeah, we just
hello?
have this, like, we have this law that's like, if you put out anything that like threatens national security, we can just steal your patent.
It's eminent domain of your ideas, right? Instead of land, it's like, well, we'll take your ideas, and it's a real thing.
Prove that it's a real thing, Patrick. Show me examples of a working free energy device that was withheld from the public due to this National Security Act. You can't, and you won't. That is a free energy grifter fake talking point that no one ever proves. But hey, don't let things like facts and evidence and real history get in the way of a good grift, right? How much money have you made promoting this? How much money have you made promoting this fake free energy with your tactics of selective editing, not including the rest of the story, right? How much have you made? We're going to let people know how much money you made sitting there like a dummy, pretending that Ashton Forbes has a free energy device. Remember, the truth does not require your participation, but a lie does. And Patrick from Vetted is participating in a lie for his own personal profit. That's what's happening here. He's participating in a lie for his own personal profit.
100%.
So, and that's scary.
Yeah. And so, they could just take your patent if you try to patent it. They could theoretically kill you or silence you in some other way. But then there's another big limitation. There's two other limitations. One is just, how do you make it economical? Like, okay, let's say I can make a Holcomb generator, but now it costs $500,000. Who's going to buy that? Like, maybe companies might buy that and they might be quiet about it, but individuals, you can't really afford that, And I think that a lot of these devices are, like, I just looked at like the whole.
Well, what's the point of getting that then? My bill for my life isn't going to be $500,000. My electric bill, that would be.
So that's the big rub,
so more
right?
excuses.
So that's the thing, is that there's this economic
right
barrier to entry, which is, how do you make it make sense for something? Because if it's so expensive that you're not going to make your money back, then it's a problem. Like, even solar panels, I think some of them cost upwards of $30,000 or more.
And you can power an entire house from a $30,000 solar system. And I know that because I know how to do basic third grade math. Apparently, Ashton Forbes doesn't know that because he can't do third grade math. That's how smart Ashton Forbes is.
100%.
And the Vetted podcast host. He couldn't do the math.
It's a great example.
And they finance them, and then it's like, okay, well, you're going to save a bunch of money, but you have to do the math and figure it out. The same is true for free energy devices, over Unity devices, because it's not going to be free. And then the next barrier to entry, and Thomas Bearden talks about this as well, is that there's only so many people that know how to build them. And
yeah, like I said, if you ask a free energy grifter to show us a working device or why isn't everybody using this, what you get is excuses for why everybody's not using it. Oh, the men in black killed people who invented them. Oh, the government came in and scooped them up. Show me a working free energy device that the government suppressed. And by the way, I'm not a huge fan of the government, but there's no proof of this. These are free energy grifter talking points that Ashton Forbes stole from people like Stephen Greer and John Searle and other promoters of this fake pseudoscience nonsense.
And these people are generally extremely well compensated already. A lot of them are already working for private military contractors. And so if they're working for those PMCs, that's short for private military contractors.
Oh, I like that. It's a new term. Okay.
Yeah, the PMC, I like it. I like it too. I'm not big on acronyms generally, but there we go.
Oh, I invented an acronym. I'm smart.
So if you hear me using PMC, that's it.
I love it.
But they're very well compensated. There's only a few of them. Like from my research,
there's very few people that know how to make these devices, and yet there's plans for them all over eBay. There's plans for free energy devices all over eBay. But Ashton Forbes just said that there's very few people that actually know how to make them. Free energy device plans. We'll just search for that on eBay. Free energy device plans. There's very few people that know how to make free energy devices. And yet there's free energy plans on Facebook. Here you can buy plans and build your own device, right? Free energy devices and systems, volume 2, 3-ring brighter, loose pages. Great. There's very few people that know how to make them, but there's plenty of scammers selling fake plans, none of which works. By the way, I own these. In my younger years, I built a lot of these. Do you know how many worked? None of them. None of them worked. And Ashton and his supporters can call me, stupid. You didn't build it right, whatever. There's always an excuse for why the devices don't work that people sell plans to. But here, Ashton Forbes is saying very few people know how to build them. And yet there's hundreds of people selling plans to build them. There's thousands of people experimenting with this. Look up free energy device on YouTube. You'll find tons of plans. Tons of people apparently or allegedly showing working energy devices, but they never prove it.
Until like the MH370 stuff in science, like we're not even talking thousands of people. I don't even think we're talking hundreds. Like I think we're talking dozens.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's only a few dozen people that can even engineer these devices.
There's only a few dozen people that can even engineer these devices, but Ashton is one of them. Ashton's going to manufacture these devices. So talk about a bloated sense of self-importance. Ashton here is saying that he's one of the only dozens of people on earth that know how to engineer these devices. And he's counting himself as one of them, even though he's never even seen a working device. He's never seen a working device. The closest he's come is a 14-year-old video on YouTube that he lied and said was an earlier device from the people that he was working with. He lied to his audience, Patrick from Vetted. He lied to your audience, and you let him. And when you find out how much money Patrick made to do this, you're going to laugh. This guy is a bottom-feeding parasite leech. You know how much money he made making this video with Ashton? About $100. Do you mean to tell me, Patrick from Vetted, your personal integrity, your personal ethics and morality can be bought for just $100? You have to sit there like a dummy while Ashton lies to your audience so that you can make $100. Awesome.
And they're all already well compensated. Thomas Bearden talks about, it's like, how are you going to entice one of these people to make devices for you?
Again, excuses for why you can't see a device.
And they don't want to risk other stuff as well. So these are the main reasons why it's very difficult to bring these types of things.
So difficult.
Market. So,
but he's going to do it.
Just to rehash the 3 main ways that I know of that I believe are all viable are cold fusion.
That's not a free energy device.
Some type of manipulation of the Casimir force, which would be like probably no moving parts. And then the idea of a magnetic.
He's saying you can create a free energy device with the Casimir effect. Then show us. Show us you creating free energy with the Casimir effect. He can't. And The show host just sits there and lets him lie.
Motor. So there's been several different
Speculation.
versions of magnetic motors.
Oh, magnetic motors. Yeah, that's how we'll make free energy. Go look on YouTube. There's thousands of fake magnetic motor generators on YouTube. Thousands of videos of those. Magnetic motor generators are a scam. They don't work. If they did, everybody'd have one in their house, Ashton, and they don't. You know why? Because free energy is not real. Just like those MH370 videos are fake. So is free energy. So no surprise that you jump from one fake hoax into another fake hoax.
That are out there. And I think that a lot of people naturally go, magnetism should have some kind of connection to this, right? Because we can see some pretty cool things with magnetism. And you'll see a lot of videos on social media where they like use magnets to make something, you know, spin or whatever like that.
Sure.
And I think that there's definitely something there on some of those, but I think that there's a little bit more to it than simply like, you know, getting your motor to spin, because generally if you do that, if you attach a load to it,
it stalls. If you attach a load to a magnetically driven motor, it stalls. It cannot produce any energy.
It's going to end up slowing down.
No,
So the biggest, just full disclosure, I started a company, EtherTech, which is technically an energy consulting company.
He started a company with a secret space program promoting grifter. That's not a real scientist. And Ashton's not a real scientist. So he started a science-based technology company with him and another fake scientist. Awesome. Awesome.
But we are selling over Unity devices that are magnetic motors. That's about as much detail as I can go into.
Why can't he go into more detail? Because the plans for the device he plans on selling that he claims work have been publicly available for years now. And everybody who built one of those wasn't able to get free energy out of it. So what's different? What's the secret sauce, Ashton? Why is your free energy device work when everybody else who built it from the plans that are publicly available can't get it to work, Ashton?
I did post a video of a magnetic motor that is, call it like a similar version to the version that
Oh, now it's a similar version. Before it was a previous version. Now it's a similar version. No, you posted a picture of a video that came from a guy who bought plans on eBay, then built it, and it didn't work. That's what you showed people. A similar model that doesn't work, Ashton. It doesn't work. What you showed doesn't work. And Patrick from Vetted is sitting there like a dummy. He doesn't know that Ashton showed a video of a device that doesn't work. A still image from a 14-year-old YouTube video. That's Ashton's proof that he has a working free energy device. And this guy, this show host is sitting there like a dummy going, yeah, sounds good.
It's out there. But
so you're going to be selling a free energy device?
Technically, I'm not going to call it free energy because it throws a lot of people off on that front.
Oh, okay.
He didn't even know. This is this guy's vetting skills. The Vetted show host didn't know that Ashton Forbes will be selling a free energy device before he interviewed him. He didn't even know about any of the claims that Ashton has made. False claims. Hey, Patrick, completely, totally, provably false claims that Ashton has made about his magic secret device that has been open sourced with plans available on the internet for more than a decade. You didn't know any of this before interviewing him, and you call the name of your show is Vetted? Great vetting skills.
Okay.
Yeah, and the people that I'm working with have already sold many of these behind the scenes, and like they're only doing this.
The people that he's working with have sold many of these working devices behind the scenes. Great. So take us to a house and show us a house being powered by this free energy device that was sold by the people you're working with. Again, what a shitty show host this Patrick is. He just said, Patrick, that the people he's working with have sold many devices to people. And in fact, in previous broadcasts, he's claimed that they've sold 30 working free energy devices. So you as a show host, your first question should be, can we see a working device then, Ashton? But you didn't. Why is that? Could it be because you know that he doesn't have any real devices? Mr. Vetted, whose vetting skills are about as good as a crackhead. The Vetted show host's vetting skills are about as good as a crackhead, right? And this show host is about as credible as a crackhead holding up a gas can asking you for gas money to get home. That's how credible both of these people are. They're both as credible as crackheads. Sorry, not sorry.
Because like they've seen the attention that I've got from promoting the science that's out there. And then for B, it's like they want to help get this information out there as well.
Well, if they've already sold 30 working devices, couldn't that make videos of all 30 houses being powered by this mystery magic free energy device? And that should get people interested. Wouldn't that be enough? Show people the 30 working energy devices. Why do they need Ashton to grift? Why do they need Ashton to promote it if they've got 30 working free energy devices, Ashton? And when are you going to show us the 30 working free energy devices that your partners in this business of yours, or the people you claim to be getting these magic free energy devices from? When are you going to show us those 30 free energy devices? Or are you going to keep showing us screenshots from 15-year-old YouTube videos that have nothing to do with what you're selling, except maybe it's the same device that you're going to claim that you're going to be selling? And by the way, everybody who's tried to build one couldn't get it working. Did you know that, Patrick? That the device that Ashton Forbes claims he's going to be selling has been open sourced. It's patented in France, and anybody can look at the patent and build their own. And the plans are available from a scam free energy plan seller who is in my opinion, a proven con artist, the man who's selling the plans to the device that Ashton Forbes claims that he's going to be selling with his fake scientist partner. And you don't say anything about any of this? Awesome.
And get the devices out there to people so that people can realize that it's possible. And the benefit of this device
30 devices,
is that it's probably
was
not
possible.
as expensive as like a Holcomb generator is, but I think it's probably still more expensive than like solar panels are. So I think that it's not going to be for everybody right away. But like my true hope is that if we can begin to commercialize it, then we can improve the design, get the cost down, and
it sounds like rockets, like
Yeah, now he's going to compare Ashton Forbes to Elon Musk. Oh, you gotta love it.
What Musk did with Tesla, right? Like he realized you got to bring the cost down of these rockets, right? So I get your point here. Like
also electric cars. I mean, he did with electric cars too, right? Like electric cars have been possible forever, but we only like when did Tesla even start? Like 10, 15 years ago. It's not even that old of a company. And everybody was, short selling Tesla and betting against Tesla and all this stuff as well. But that's a lot of people would say, well, you just open source it. But if you've been listening to this discussion so far, that's not really how it works, because
we can't. It is open sourced. The device that Ashton claims he's going to be selling, the plans are available all over the internet. It already is open sourced. He doesn't even know the definition of what open source means.
Anybody can just produce these devices out of nowhere. Like, you first of all have to have the right design, and then you have to be able to tune it correctly. Thomas Bearden talks about this a lot in the Meg video, where it's like you can make
Thomas Bearden, another free energy promoter that has never shown a working device. Ashton, were you aware that Thomas Bearden has been promoting free energy for decades and he's never shown a working device? Patrick from Vetted, were you aware that Thomas Bearden has promoted free energy for decades, but he's never shown a working device? But here, Ashton Forbes is going to cite as an information source a man who's grifted off of free energy for decades and never proven that the device that he has a working device. And you're letting him. Great vetting skills, vetted guy.
Make the right device with the right materials, and you will have this extra energy that's being extracted from the environment, but you have to capture it. You have to capture that energy so that it then can be used as coefficient of performance.
It's called a battery. You can use a battery. Let's take a moment to thank some kind and generous people. For those unaware, I actually vet things, and I actually investigate things, and I research things, and we give our audience true, real, and accurate, verifiable information. And this Vetted guy, I'm sure I don't know how much money he makes selling his fake shit, but I'm sure he makes more money than us. Just want to put that out there. If you want to make money, promote garbage like this guy. He's a garbage. He ought to wear a sanitation outfit on every one of his shows. In fact, I'm going to find his address and send him a trash man outfit, because Patrick from Vetted is the trash man of the UFO world. There's many trash men of the UFO world, but he's one of them. Thank you, Nivik. Spill Coleman. I always have trouble saying your name. I apologize. For a kind and generous £2 super chat. Can't repeal the laws of nature. Ergo, there is no free energy. I agree 100%, Nivik, and thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Dustin Hayden with a very kind and generous $9.99 super chat. Keep up the great work, Stephen. I love your show, and I am happy someone is willing to call out all these phonies. Well, that's what we do here, and we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. And we also thank Nivik. Thank both you guys for helping us to praise the cash. We read every single super chat. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get to them. And we thank every single person that becomes a member during our live broadcast. So click that join button or click that little money button down there, and we will give you a shout out and a thank you. Thank you, Dustin, and thank you, Nivik.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. So we're going to continue. I don't know how much more of this I can take. These two are dumber than rocks, both of them.
Greater than one. One
Is the idea that this machine would be like something you plug into your house, or like how does this
He
work?
doesn't even know how it
no,
works.
great question. So the device that we are selling, like technically you need some input to get it going. And once it starts going, then it starts to produce coefficient performance greater than 1. So that could be that you plug it in for a second, and then once the magnetic motor starts going, you unplug it, and then it just runs forever. And then there's
how does Ashton hasn't been whacked. Strange indeed.
Yeah. So you can hook it up to your circuit breaker, or you can.
Here's
also,
where it gets interesting.
You can set it up to have like build in a plug into it. So there's like an outlet, like AC energy, and then you can just plug right in. Now, of course, the limitation there would be how much energy it's producing, right? You can't, if you put too much load on it, then you're not gonna be able to power everything that you have. So. The neat thing is it can be scaled up or down. So right now, the reason why we've just started our alpha rollout stage, and we're only looking for a few people initially to get involved in it. We're not really interesting. We're not trying to be famous, and we're not trying to be like.
Well, we know that the Vetted show host is deleting comments that are critical of his guests because he's an intellectual weakling and a coward. And the fake information that he presents on his show is so piss poor and so easily proven to be false information, disinformation, and misinformation that he has to delete people's comments. But Genuine Argyle is saying Patrick has Stephen Cambion or True Seekers censored from his comments section for when someone should request actual vetted sources that expose the BS. I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Billionaires off this. We're just trying to get the devices and information out there to people, because
would this be the first time this has ever happened?
No, I think this has probably happened before, and I've been told as well, just through other sources that I have, that I already just mentioned the people that I work with have already sold like 30 of these devices behind the scenes. They're not the only ones who are doing this either.
Great. So not only has Ashton's partners sold working free energy devices, but other people have. Can you show us those other people so I can interview them about their world-changing technology, Ashton Forbes? Can we interview the 30 people who bought a device from your business partners so we can interview them about the world-changing technology that you are selling? Oh, that's right. They probably don't exist, and nobody is allowed to interview them or know who the people are that are buying the magic box free energy device from Ashton Forbes. We want to thank John Lies, who is also a member and gave a kind and generous $32 Canadian super chat. Says, if he puts on a lab coat, I might buy it. That's how you make it more credible. But thank you, John Lies, for two things: being a member and your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. Very generous of you. Thank you for helping us to. Yes. And by the way, there is no excuse for the Vetted show host lying to people on a literal daily basis to make money, because my show is proof that you can still make money and have some ethics. Patrick. You could have some morality. You could not hate yourself when you look in the mirror every day and realize that you sell lies to stupid people to eat every day. I don't get it. I don't get the path that some people choose, but I know what it is. I think that the vetted guy doesn't have the gray matter. He is too dumb to do research. It's very clear that he's just too dumb to do actual research. He's just too dumb to do actual investigation into anything. So his only hope at making money is to be a garbage peddling scumbag. And that's where we're at. And sorry, not sorry.
Other people are selling them behind the scenes as well. And it's probably, I don't know this for a fact, but it's probably like those other private military contractor engineers that.
Oh, yeah. People are selling free energy devices, but Ashton can't show us a working one. His business partners have sold 30 working free energy devices, but he can't show us one of them. Why not? You don't have to give the identity of the people who purchased them. Just have a physicist, an electronics technician, and an electrical engineer go there, evaluate the device, and tell us if it works or not. It's very simple. You can hire an independent physicist, an independent electrical engineer, and an independent electronics engineer to certify that those 30 devices you claim your business partners have sold actually produce free energy, and you would be the most famous person on planet Earth. But instead of doing that, you know what's going to happen? Ashton Forbes is going to give us excuses for why he can't show us a working device. While he shows us screenshots from a 14-year-old non-working video that is 14 years old of a non-working device that he claims is a similar device to his. Yes, similar in that the device that he showed didn't work.
The people that know that it's possible, that are smart. And I think that everybody probably has their own designs. Like I imagine the one that we're selling is roughly around coefficient of performance 2, which is, people would say, just completely impossible.
The toaster isn't a free energy device.
That it wouldn't surprise me if people can make ones that are like coefficient of performance 5 or 10, which is
he's already improving on the magic device that doesn't work.
Because that's
are you saying that's like 10 times the amount that's
going in? The smart people know that it
and this
works.
Is what I would say to people is that the people that want to get it figured out, and I signed an NDA with the people that I've been working with because
the people you're building this with, you mean?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Got it.
The people that, and I mean, I'm mostly a salesperson, but I'm also somebody who's trying to learn the engineering side at the same time. I mean,
he's a salesperson of a magic free energy device. Why did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement? The plans for the device, the Hatem device that you basically claim that you and your partners will be selling, are free and available on the internet. So why did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement?
I mean, I think anybody who's a good businessman should be.
And if he has to sign a non-disclosure agreement, how's he supposed to sell the device if he can't talk about it? It's so stupid and childish and nonsensical. But don't let things like facts and logic get in the way of a good grift.
You're trying to learn how their products
work. Well, for good salesmen, you know your product too, right? Like, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would say is, like, I think that for people that want to figure out how to do it themselves, what I would say,
Angeli's Aliens bought the 30 energy devices,
and this is just my opinion, not anything related to the NDA, is that I wouldn't try to make a device that has no power input at all. A lot of people, when they think of free energy and over Unity, they think, well, I
love that he can't show us a working device, but he's going to tell us how to build one, right? Talk about putting the cart before the horse.
Something that has no power input. And that's when they try to get with the magnets and they try to make it so the wheels spin.
I see what you mean. Okay, I get
Having
it.
Power input's fine as long as you
just
get
something to
jumpstart
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Ashton's ego is over Unity. Admiral Rascals. Thanks for being.
Let's say it takes 100 watts of power in, but it produces 200 watts of power out. Coefficient of performance 2.0. Then you take 100 of the watts that are going out and you feed it back in to the input. Now what's happening? You're getting 100 excess watts out. Well, no, it's not going to duplicate like that. But basically, what it's doing is it's using the 200 out and it's powering itself. Right? Because it only takes
pseudoscience garbage.
That's how I would have people think about over Unity. And that's also how like cold fusion works as well. Is they say, well, cold fusion takes some power to get
Angeli got the 30 devices to power her astral 8th density dildo.
Yes. As well.
Definitely
that's how
true,
I would
David
try to
Wilcock.
approach any free energy device at all. Is that I wouldn't try to make it just like zero input and then output coming out. That's where I think a lot of people get stuck. is try to make it where you have some input coming in, but you're getting more out than that. And then
So it's perpetual. It just recycles on it.
And just so everybody's aware, a free energy device is essentially a perpetual motion machine. Let's forget for a moment about proving you have a working free energy device or that these things are even possible, Ashton. Show us a working perpetual motion machine that has been certified by physicists to actually work. You can't. And therefore, your whole grift falls apart. We want to thank Trolley Troll for a kind and generous $5 super chat and for being a member. Says, hey, Stephen, I have some literature and stuff from the Roswell UFO Festival I think you may find interesting. I sent an email to your Gmail. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, Trolley Troll. And of course, thank you for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we're going to continue for a little while longer. I don't know how much more I can take of these dummies.
Self and keeps going.
Exactly. And so then people would ask, well, how do you turn it off? It's actually really simple to turn it off. Is that
yes, the 30 devices were on the MH370 airplane.
You just fucking
no, you just
and they're lost until Ashton solves the mystery.
The output that's going back into the input. If you put a switch in there, then it's going to slow down. If it's a motor, it's going to stop. And so you just have a switch like that, and then
it's a good way to be, Bob Marley.
And then it'll stop. And then if you need to start it back up again, you either just plug it back in again, or
there's a saying, Bob Marley, and saying that I like. It is always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them more, or something like that. The best way to get at your enemies is to just forgive them. They hate that.
The magnetic motor situations usually do have a battery, but it's
I don't forgive or forget.
Is like
we're here tonight because this dummy attacked me.
You want to have
right?
energy that you're
so you talked a lot of trash about me, didn't you, Patrick? You
and I
dumbass.
imagine in the future, like overusing
Welcome
devices
to your
in
new.
general as they get better
by
and
the
better.
way,
They'll always be paired with something.
I have a message for Patrick from Vetted. I am the Vetted podcast's new fact checker. I'm just going to put that out there. Every time Ashton platforms a grifter, I'm going to be here to fact check for Vetted podcast. That's right. You heard it here first. Stephen Cambion, the Truth Seekers show host, is now the Vetted podcast's official fact checker. And whether he likes it or not, good luck selling scams. Good luck selling hoaxes, Patrick, because every time you do, I'm going to do a show. And I don't care if I have to do 5 extra shows a week because you put out so much garbage. I'm going to start fact checking through your garbage. Oh, by the way, here, this will be interesting. Yeah, let's see here. We'll share this tab. Specific details about recovered alien bodies. And this is, he made a video about Glenn Dennis, who is a completely and totally discredited Roswell witness. And he left out all the information. And so I just want to put on the record that the Vetted podcast show host purposefully or by accident put out completely and totally debunked false information from Glenn Dennis. Glenn Dennis, who worked at the Ballard Funeral Home in Roswell, New Mexico, claimed that in July 1947, he received a series of mysterious phone calls from the Roswell Army Airfield inquiring about child-sized coffins and the preservation of bodies that had been exposed to the elements. Dennis further alleged that he later encountered a nurse friend who confided in him about witnessing alien bodies at the base. The story added a new dramatic layer to the Roswell incident, suggesting a government cover-up of extraterrestrial life and bodies that had crashed during the famous Roswell event. But here's the information. Here's the information that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. It's this one, the Glenn Dennis. This is Vetted show host putting out garbage. And it's easily proven false information because of the inconsistencies and the fabrications that Glenn Dennis was caught in. And the Vetted guy didn't do any vetting, didn't do any research, no investigation, no fact checking. You can go to Wikipedia and find out that Glenn Dennis was full of shit. But instead of doing that, the Vetted show host put out a video just essentially co-signing Glenn Dennis's false claims. The crux of Dennis's account rests on the testimony of an unnamed nurse whose identity he initially claimed to protect. But then over time, Glenn Dennis provided a name, Naomi Self. But when researchers attempted to verify her existence, no such records of any person working at the Roswell Army Airfield Base existed. Dennis then revised his story, claiming that the nurse had died in a plane crash shortly after the incident. But again, no documentation of that plane crash with the nurse dying in it. Remember, fatal plane crashes in the Army would have a mountain of paperwork. There was no paperwork from Glenn Dennis. There was no paperwork to support Glenn Dennis's claims. His claims are completely and totally false. This shifting narrative and his false claims, provable false claims, severely undermines Dennis' credibility in tales of alien bodies. There's a lack of corroborative evidence because extensive investigations by UFO researchers, journalists, and authors have failed to find any supporting evidence for Dennis' claims. The absence of records of the nurse, the lack of documentation regarding the phone calls, and the inability to verify the alleged plane crash all point to significant gaps in Dennis' story. Furthermore, other witnesses and personnel from the RAAF, the Roswell Army Airfield, at the time have not corroborated Dennis's account, further casting doubt on its authenticity. Then, even Roswell authors and researchers have absolutely rejected this Glenn Dennis testimony. Notably, many serious Roswell researchers, including prominent figures such as Kevin Randle, have completely and totally dismissed Glenn Dennis' testimony. In his detailed examination of the Roswell incident, Glenn Dennis's testimony was characterized as a fabrication, noting the numerous inconsistencies, lack of credible evidence, and verifiable false claims that Glenn Dennis had made. Randall, who is a respected UFO researcher, highlighted the flaws in Dennis' narrative, pointing out the constant changes and additions to the story over the years that render it completely and totally unreliable information. So Glenn Dennis's account of the Roswell incident, which was once a cornerstone of UFO lore, has been thoroughly discredited and debunked through rigorous real investigation and analysis, something that the Vetted show host knows nothing about. Here he is promoting completely and totally false testimony of a fake Roswell witness that claims there was bodies at Roswell. That story is completely and totally fake. So, hey, remember I said that this Vetted show host, he caused all this. He wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even know who the hell the guy was till he started attacking me viciously. And then, like the intellectual weakling and coward he was, he blocked me on Twitter and then proceeded to talk shit about me. Listen, you can say whatever you want about me, you clown. I'm not promoting fake Roswell testimony. You are. And this is what this guy's integrity and morality costs. He promoted specific details about recovered alien bodies from the Roswell UFO crash. That's a completely and totally false information, misinformation, disinformation. He promoted that to get 10,000 views, which translates to around, depending on your CPM rate on Twitter, or excuse me, on YouTube. He did that. He lied to everybody and left out all the facts of this story for $80. That's how much, that's what a cheap whore. He is a cheap whore. That's who the Vetted podcast host is. He's a cheap whore who's willing to lie to everybody on YouTube, including his own audience, for $80. He sits there and just lets this fake guy tell his fake story for $80. So, but congratulations, Vetted. It's about time you had somebody vetting and fact-checking the information you put out. And you started all of this. You did. So now, every time you put out a fake story, I'm going to make a video proving that the stories that you put out are fake. Congratulations. You finally got a real investigator. You finally got somebody that's going to vet things, investigate things, research things, and vet things for you. I am the new Vetted podcast show official fact checker. Well, unofficial fact checker. I'm going to do it as a public service. You've had a nice run selling fake shit, Patrick, but those days are over. You better start doing some research, because if you don't, I will. And how dare you delete comments? You better not delete anybody posting my video to your YouTube channel. But it is what it is. These garbage peddlers, they never get better. They get worse and worse. How many hoaxes has this vetted guy promoted now? Let's see. MH370, Mexican aliens, the alien interview hoax, right? Hoaxes from Jeremy Corbell, this Glenn Dennis completely and totally fake story. It's amazing that this guy, that maybe his audience just wants to hear science fiction stories. And by the way, I have no problem with people promoting things as entertainment, but you got to label it. This is just entertainment. It's not real. Patrick sits there and pretends this shit is real as he puts out completely and totally provably false testimony from the Roswell crash. By the way, if you want to see real research into Roswell, considering it's the 77th anniversary of Roswell, was yesterday. This weekend, we're going to be presenting 24 hours of Roswell research, and that'll be a teachable moment. Patrick from Vetted can find out how real research works, how you have to give the audience all sides of the story. In our Roswell series, I let skeptics and debunkers come on and tell their version of what happened at Roswell. I let believers and Roswell expert authors come on and tell their version of events. We had virtually every recognized Roswell expert on Earth in our 24-hour deep dive coverage of Roswell. That'll be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But I think it's great because Patrick started this shit with me, and now he's going to have me fact checking for his show. I know that he's full-time and too lazy to do it. And even though my show is, 10% of my business, it's not even part-time job for me. I'm going to make the time to be Patrick from Vetted's new vetter, fact checker, and investigator. Every time he puts out a fake story, I'll be here to let his audience know what a piss-poor, terrible job he did selling fake shit to them. Congratulations, Patrick. Maybe you should have kept your mouth shut when I had a dispute with another show host that had nothing to do with you.
Something like the Tesla wall battery and other people have similar products, because you're not always using the exact amount of energy that it's producing. And in fact, there might be times where like you're sleeping and you're using like no energy, and you just want the thing to be charging up the battery, right? And then in times of need, you can use the excess energy that you need.
Wow, he's telling us you can use a battery. Great.
So a lot of these devices do end up having like a battery associated to them, but it's not the battery that they're it's not like it's a cheating the battery it's running off of type situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you,
are you guys going to offer
Wade.
like maintenance?
Thank you for your encouragement. I appreciate it.
I'm assuming the only thing would be the parts, right? Because the energy's kind of endless.
Yeah,
so, but the parts,
I agree. Aliens are sus.
And I asked a ton of questions.
Sounds like
before I
Medball.
got
I bet you
involved
did.
in it,
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any.
He asked a ton of questions, except he didn't ask, can I see a working device and proof that this is actually real before I put my reputation on the line to sell this? Can I see a working device? Can I see a physicist, an electrical engineer, and an electronics engineer, trained scientists who have evaluated these devices and seen that they really do work? Can I talk to the 30 people who have already bought what you claim to be a working free energy device and interview them to make sure that all 30 of them say that this device produces free energy? Can I ask those people questions about their satisfaction level with the free energy device that you guys claim you sold 30 of them? Yeah, he asked a ton of questions. He just didn't ask any of the right ones. Why doesn't he have any evidence or proof of these magic devices? Could it be because they don't exist?
Any gaps in any of the logic in anything related to it? And I've also answered a lot of these questions on my live streams. There's
my bad.
basically no maintenance. No, it's fine. I'm happy to go through the main questions with you guys. But there's basically like no maintenance associated to it. The things that people have brought up are, and so like
Ashton
we're so
needs to
confident
shuffle
that
off,
there's so
it's
little
that time.
maintenance that we're willing to give like a warranty on it. The amount of years is yet to be determined. It's probably
Who cares about a warranty? Why don't you show us that the device actually works? I think that would be a little more important than a warranty. But he's saying, oh, this is a maintenance-free device. And listen, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Ashton has never manufactured a product. I have. Do you even know what the EMF readings are out of the device? Do you have shielding? Has it passed government inspection for a device that you can actually sell and market? Oh, that's right. You don't know shit about actually manufacturing anything. You don't know shit about electronics or the federal laws around EMF radiation for electronic devices. By the way, I do, because I once tried to market a computer. Bad idea. We were going to design and build a certain kind of computer, and the regulations to get through just for EMF shielding make it virtually impossible for a small business to manufacture an electronics device. But Ashton claims not only is he going to manufacture an electronics device and get through all the government regulations, but it's going to produce free energy and also be maintenance free. Friends, there's no such thing as a maintenance free device. All devices with any moving parts require maintenance. And he would know that if he knew anything about actual engineering. But instead, we have a pseudoscience guy who's speaking word salad, pseudoscience, quantum gibberish, claiming completely ridiculous things.
Especially in the alpha stage, it'll be like person to person, like, 5-10 years, something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
I think we're more concerned with people.
The logistics of tooting around in hover cars
and claiming that they
Sure.
did something to it. But some people ask, well, would the magnets lose their magnetic force? Magnets, especially powerful ones like neomagnets, they range for at least 41 years. And even after 41 years, the worst case scenario, they may only lose 30% of their magnetic field. So in 41 years, I mean, that's more than most people's adult lifetimes. But it would have already produced so much excess
Moody
energy
Mongo,
that,
you're right. He suffers.
There'd be no question in terms of its
Bro,
use.
any product that lasts 41 years, you're happy with. I mean, Jesus, the way things are built now, let's be real.
So let's get to the part of extraordinary claims. Not only has Ashton claimed that his partners in this business venture have sold 30 working devices, but it's maintenance free and it will produce free energy for 40 years. Can you show us a working free energy device, Ashton? Can you show us a working free energy device that is operated maintenance free for 40 years? Folks, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And in this case, Ashton is making absolutely scientifically, not only scientifically implausible claims, scientifically impossible claims. And he's shown zero evidence or proof of his claims, except remember that he did go as far as showing us a still image from a 14-year-old video of a device that never worked. You gotta love it. 1 second. I'm trying to find that. I just want to make sure that we understand that Ashton Forbes only proof that he has a working free energy device is from an image from a 14-year-old YouTube video, which was made from eBay plans and didn't work. That's Ashton's proof that he has working free energy technology. A still image that he stole from a 14-year-old YouTube video of a device that never worked. And remember, everybody who tried to build this device he plans to be selling that he just said works for 40 years, it's maintenance free, and produces free energy. He said that, not me. His only proof of this is a still image he stole from somebody else's YouTube video of a device that didn't work 14 years ago. But he claims it's a similar device to the one that he's going to sell. But I guess his work. And everybody that tried to build this device, by the way, have reported that it didn't work. Did you know that, Ashton? Every single person who bought the plans or got the plans on the internet and built this Hatem device, nobody was able to get it working. I think that history is important. And history is our greatest teacher. Apparently, Ashton is not a student of history. He'd rather just sell bullshit. Same for Patrick.
And if I'm being real as a business person, which is actually where my original major is and my real educational
Yeah,
background.
he has no
Like,
education
I would probably have it just be
science.
like 10
His
year
education is in
warranty or
business.
lifetime. And yes, it might last for another 15, but like I would want to have some kind of real practical limitations on it, and then have the people do the math based on 10 years.
It
Now,
must be true. It's called vetted.
Last for 41.
You're right, Pete Berry. It must be true.
But I want
the
to
show
put
must
something
be
that's like
given
more
good,
definite,
accurate,
more
real
shorter
information. It's
timeframe
called
on it or something
vetted.
like that.
Sure. And if they
then-
modify it, it voids the
Yeah,
warranty.
it
right?
creates
'Cause you would have-
1.21
Yeah, and so they're
gigawatts.
definitely going to be
Definitely.
like the contracts that we sign with people are going to have a thing that you can't tamper with the device. It'll void your warranty. Blah blah blah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then one of the big benefits, I think I'm okay to say this part, is that
Yeah, he has a NDA, but he can say
let's
that.
say that I'm giving my opinion here. I don't know if it's 100% correct, but let's say that a lot of these magnetic motors, they don't have any belts or anything like that. So one of the big benefits is there's very little stuff that can break down. So a lot of like motor type situations.
By the way, Ashton has not, apparently or allegedly, Ashton has not seen Vetted by the guy that looks about 12. Yes. Ashton's only education has been lying to people who believe him. Yes. V is for unvetted. Yeah, and let's be clear. Ashton hasn't even seen one of these devices in person. Prove me wrong, Ashton. Show us a video of you with a working device. Oh, that's right, you can't. Ashton ran to create a company to sell this shit before he ever saw proof of concept. And by the way, one of the reasons that I know that Ashton is full of shit is because I run a technology company. And I'm not going to speak much about that. I tend to keep my real world separated from conspiracy land here. But I know a lot about technology and technology startups. And one of the first things anybody would do is that you got to see proof of concept. You got to see that the device works. I've been through this process with a potential investor once, and I had to show that the device that I planned to market worked. What proof has Ashton showed us? He showed us a still image from a 14-year-old video that didn't work. That device didn't work, Ashton. Great job vetting everything here, Patrick. This is very good work from a full-time show host. There's no excuse from a full-time show host for having garbage peddling guests on and not knowing anything. He didn't even know that Ashton was going to be selling this device before interviewing him. He knew none of Ashton's false claims. He knew none of the history of the Hatem device and how many people have built it and it didn't work from plans. He didn't know that Ashton stole a still image from a 14-year-old video of a non-working device. But his show's called Vetted. You gotta love it.
Belt, even in your car.
I love it.
And the belt can break, right? It's going to wear down over time, especially if you have motors that are spinning. But or I don't know how to do it. But yeah, but the motors in this situation, because they don't.
This is a very good point. Area 503 brings up $50,000 for a free power device that only lasts 10 years. That's $5,000 a year. My current power bill is only $150 a month or $1,800 a year. What a crock. Yeah, good point. Why would you pay $50,000 for a device that only lasts 10 years? Is it going to generate twice the power that you need, or like you sell it back? I don't understand. The math doesn't work. And this guy who has an education in business, oh boy, we're going to screenshot that. That is our next Ashton Forbes thumbnail right there. Yeah, I love it. In fact, I'm going to screenshot it now before I forget. You gotta love it. All right, I screenshotted it. 1 second. So you gotta love, don't worry about the fact that the device is so expensive that you'd never even reach a point where you made your money back on the device if it only lasts 10 years. I mean, I guess if it lasts 40 years, you might, right? Who knows? 1 second. So I don't know how much more of this I can take. These guys are both dumb as rocks, and they're pushing verifiably completely fake information.
Don't have any like belts or anything potentially tied to them. There's very little very little friction that's happening there. You know, maybe the worst case scenario, and I'm just speculating, would be like maybe you have to put like a little drop of oil or something on it. If it's
He's just speculating. He claims he has a working free energy device, but he knows nothing about the maintenance of the device. So he has to speculate about what kind of maintenance his working free energy magic machine needs. You see the problems here? Awful lot of problems here.
you know, the wheel isn't as connected to the thing. And that's part of why Dr. Greer also though talks about like devices with no moving parts, because no moving parts means like, you know, it's going to have basically no maintenance.
And again, Ashton, for proof, is citing a person who grifted $1 million for free energy. You got to love the fact that Ashton is citing somebody who's already grifted over $1 million from the public and never proven that free energy is real. Grifts of a feather, grift together.
But minimal moving parts is also going to have very little maintenance. So from a maintenance perspective, I think there's very little issue with it. To me, the biggest issue is having it produce enough energy to run your whole house. Because you know, how big does the device have to be? How costly is it going to get? How much energy you're using? I think that a lot of people don't realize or they just don't know how much energy you're using. I don't know how much energy I'm using. And for those
would
people,
you hook it up at your house?
This man doesn't know how much energy he's using, yet he's claiming that this device can power your whole home. I'm going to say that one more time. This man is claiming he doesn't even know how much energy his own home uses, yet he's promising people a device that will power their entire home. And now Patrick just asked him, would you hook this up at your house? And now we're going to get excuses from Ashton Forbes. Hey, Ashton Forbes, you know what a great way to prove this isn't a scam would be? Is to get this working free energy device. Maybe you could borrow one of the 30 working free energy devices you claim your business partners already sold people and hook it up to your house, and then get an electronics technician, an electrical engineer, and a physicist to all come over with measuring devices and confirm that that free energy device is producing over unity or 0 point or free energy, whatever you want to call it, and powering your entire home for free. That would be a great way to prove that this isn't a scam. And if you can't do that, there's a reason he can't hook it up to his house. So Patrick from Vetted just finally asked one good question. Are you going to hook this up to your house? Let's see what excuses Ashton Forbes comes up with. Because if he hooked it up to his house, he'd have to prove it worked. Can't hook it up to my house.
Should that be the first test? You hook one up at your house, man.
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into my living situation, but let's just say it's not super practical for me based on my living situation to do it. But
Mommy,
what I will say is
let him hook
that
things up in the basement.
it is possible that I will have one handy here and sometime in the near future. And if I do, then I probably will talk about it a little bit. I've kind of avoided talking.
He's claiming that he'll have a working device in his possession soon. Shouldn't you have a working device in your possession before you start a company and start selling them to other people for $50,000? I don't know. Call me kooky. I'm just a business owner. And before I sold anybody a $50,000 technological device, I would want to know that it works. Not Ashton. Not Ashton. Shouldn't you have one that works, Ashton, before you start selling these for $50,000? He doesn't have a working device in his possession, but he's starting a company with a fake science guy and him selling these devices for $50,000. You got to love it.
Talking about some of the stuff with the business because
great job breaking in, Vetted.
You probably haven't noticed
calling him on this bullshit.
All of the same haters that I had from MH370 have all now just shifted to hating on the free energy.
Oh yeah, everybody is a hater that says that you lie to people. No, we proved, everybody that proved those MH370 videos were fake proved that you are a liar and a grifter and a conspiracy theorist. By the way, Ashton's defense is, well, none of the family members ever complained. There are now multiple family members complaining, not specifically about Ashton, but about people grifting and scamming off of conspiracy theories around MH370. There are multiple family members complaining about that. Has he stopped grifting off of MH370? Of course not. Of course not, because he's a scumbag. And that's exactly what a scumbag would do, grift off the tragic death of 200 people. right? Who cares what their families think? I need to make money off this fake MH370 nonsense.
Bro, no matter what you do, they're going to come after you.
Because it's not, it was
Like,
never about MH370, right? It was always about just coming after me. And that's, you know, just goes to show what it's about, which there's probably some in the chat right now as well, but I just call them my fans.
Don't worry, Patrick will delete them. By the way, Patrick was deleting messages from the live chat that was challenging Ashton's fake claims. He was also deleting comments from the video that was challenging Ashton's fake claims. Hey, vetted guy, are you that much of an intellectual weakling and a coward that you can't withstand any debate whatsoever or any comments challenging your guests making completely and totally scientifically provably false statements?
In general. But I would ask people.
This is my chat, and they're probably talking about me right now. So, like,
your chat is actually pretty awesome, man. I do have to be honest. I've checked out some of your stuff, and a lot of you guys are really awesome. You've been doing, by the way, you've just been doing a great job, man.
Yeah, Ashton is saying that this hoax promoter is doing a great job. How many hoaxes has he promoted, Ashton? And you're saying he's doing a great job promoting hoaxes, Ashton. That's what he's doing. And he's very consistent in promoting fake stories, provably debunked fake Roswell testimonies, provably debunked fake alien mummies, provably debunked Jeremy Corbell videos, provably debunked alien interview. And by the way, I don't have any problem. For those unaware, that Jon Stewart guy came here and we ripped his fake alien interview to shreds with facts and evidence and science. And we proved that the guy interviewing Victor in the video is interviewing himself. Did you even know that, Patrick? When you take the voice disguiser off, it's the same voice asking the questions that is answering them as the Victor character. We proved that here. You didn't prove anything. You just took the money and ran. This Patrick guy has promoted multiple hoaxes from Jon Stewart, the alien interview hoax and that other one, right? How many hoaxes? Ashton is saying he's doing a great job. Yeah, he does a great job promoting fake shit. That's why you're there, Ashton, because you promote fake shit.
No, thanks, Ashton.
Have you even missed a day yet on these?
No, dude.
You've been consistency is amazing, man. Like that is, you are solid. And I'm glad you're doing this, talking about free energy, and I'm glad you had me on to talk about it because
Hank,
I do think that it's a thing where I just want the world to have it, because I think that like wind and solar are just a big scam. And I mean that just kind of tongue in.
He's saying that wind and solar are a big scam. I have a working solar generator, Ashton. It works. I can prove to you it works. I can hook up multimeters and show you that it produces 14 or 15 volts, several amps, and it works. I have a wind turbine, which I haven't ever hooked up at the cabin, but I can spin it and put a multimeter on it and show you that it produces energy. People who have solar generators or wind power generators can show you that their devices work. Ashton cannot show you that his device works. All he can show you is a screenshot he stole from a video of a non-working device from 14 years ago. But he's going to sit here with a straight face and say that solar power generators and wind power generators are a, quote, scam, unquote.
And chic. I mean, of course, if you live off the grid.
Don't get me started. I think it's a scam too, dude.
Oh, Patrick thinks wind and solar is also a scam.
I could go off on that
Patrick thinks wind and solar is a scam. And again, Patrick, I can show you a working solar power generator. So can anybody who owns one. But your guest here, Ashton Forbes, can't show us that his device works. All he can show us is his fake evidence that he has a working device. He just admitted he doesn't even have a working device in his possession. You just let him talk. You didn't even stop him and say, shouldn't you have a working device before you start selling them to other people for $50,000? Ashton, shouldn't you hook it up to your house and prove it works by having a physicist, electrical engineer, electronics engineer come and certify that the device works? Of course not. Why would we want to vet things when our show is called Vetted? What a joke.
If I'm being real.
Wind power kills a bunch of birds. Solar power stuff. Like people don't realize.
Dude, the piping, they've got to lay the cables outside the city. It's killing animals. I'm with you, dude. I could go off. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of it.
If you looked at the lithium mines that they have,
Ashton has no idea how stuff really
solar
works.
Panels, it's like green toxic sludge. You're like,
Dude,
that's got to be the worst
crazy.
stuff for the environment. And people say,
Solar
oh,
is
the
a
solar
scam.
panels are technically recyclable. I don't think that they really are.
Come to
Generally,
see
like
my Blue
only like
Yeti
1 in 10
hooked up to
solar panels
solar
being
and all the
recycled,
fans
and
are
it's
solar.
not cost
Good point.
benefit. There's no
Pete
cost
Berry,
benefit to
you
it.
can show your
Most
solar
of the stuff
device
with solar
works.
panels is like
He
they get
can't show
destroyed,
his
then you get
fake
thrown in the
device,
dump.
magic
And
device
now we've
work.
got more
Yeah.
trash. So
But he's calling out a
comparatively,
scam.
free energy device that can run for 10, 25, 41 years or more,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
just
that is
here,
far.
my new cabin is way off in the woods. It's miles from any pavement or paved road. So my new cabin will be solar powered, and I'll have all the power I need. All I want is enough power for lights and a laptop. That's all I need. I can do that from a very small 12-volt system, maybe 300-watt 12-volt system, and a marine deep cycle battery. And my device will work, Bobby Broadway. And it's not a scam because it works. Meanwhile, Ashton Forbes is talking about a magic free energy device that runs for 40 years with no maintenance, but he's never seen one in real life. He can't show us one that works. He can't show us the 30 working devices that he claims his partners have already sold. But hey, this isn't a scam, right?
Far less when it comes to damaging the environment. That's a way where we can like have real green power. And people say, well, where's the energy coming from? Well, the energy's coming from all
highly
around
encourage
us,
everybody to do it. Buy some
the
land,
best way to
start
think
building
about
it.
And
That's what I did.
I think it was Richard Feynman first quoted this, but you'll hear Dr. Greer talk about it, Hal Puthoff talk about it.
TTI.
There's enough energy. I'll just use.
I looked at them.
Bottle here.
Out of my price lead.
Although you don't even need a bottle this big, but there's enough energy in this entire bottle here.
And here is the grift. He is repeating 100% repeating the false claims of Dr. Stephen Greed. He's about to repeat them. You got to.
Richard Feynman first quoted this, but you'll hear Dr. Greer talk about it. Hal Puthoff talk about it. Is that there's enough energy.
Right. He's quoting Hal Puthoff, who scammed the government out of $22 million and scammed the government out of money for the Project Stargate, in which he claimed that somebody using magic tricks had real psychic superpowers. He's quoting Stephen Greer, who grifted the public for over $1 million and repeated this false talking point. This is the false talking point. There's enough energy in this thing to boil off all the water in the oceans.
I'll just use this bottle here. Although you don't even need a bottle this big. But there's enough energy in this entire bottle here, if this was full of water, to vaporize all the Earth's oceans.
Great. Show us it. Show us the energy in that bottle, Ashton. Or are your magic fake pseudoscience talking points fake? You know how many free energy grifters have used this fake talking point? There's enough energy in this to boil off all the oceans of the earth. Nobody's ever proven it, but Ashton just repeats grifter talking points. And he's not even original. All of his talking points were stolen from other free energy grifters like Dr. Stephen Greer.
And when you think about it like that, like E equals MC squared, like how much energy you can produce from a very small thing. Now imagine we only need a little bit of energy from
you need free energy to power
the
your
environment to be able to power everything around us. And the truth is, even though we may have a lot of devices at home, that energy in relation to the size of the universe is infinitesimally small. So even with these types of over unity devices extracting energy from the environment, it's like taking a little teaspoon and pulling water out of the ocean.
How long till it gets
you're going to drain the ocean? Right? It's just literally impossible. It's never going to happen.
Sure. I see what you're saying. You're not going to pull all the power that's around here, right?
So,
like
I think we would have to be like a type 3 civilization before we get to the point where we have to start worrying about how much energy we're pulling from the environment to have any appreciable effect. Although that might be something we worry about in 1,000 years or whenever we achieve that. So for the power levels that we're using, like these types of devices, I think there's basically no risk. It's not going to give you cancer or anything like that. It's not going to lift off the ground and take off. Although there does seem to be some connection between this idea of free energy and anti-gravity, which I think is interesting. But the amount of energy the devices that we're talking about producing, it's too small to have any type of major effect like that.
How big is these machines? Like, what are we talking? Like refrigerator size or?
Qualcomm one is like refrigerator size. The one that we're selling is like, and it's motor, magnetic motor type situation and setup. So what we've been telling people is maybe like 3 by 3 feet. So it's like a square, like a generator type size.
Okay. Yeah.
There's, a couple pieces to it. So it's, And it can be boxed up or what have you as well. It can be EMP shielded. But generally, I would
isn't it great? He's never seen a device in person, but he knows exactly how big it is. I guess he got specifications from his grifty partners. Who knows?
recommend people have stored inside, out of the elements, like in their basement or in a closet somewhere where it's not going to be in the way. It makes a little bit of noise, but it's pretty damn quiet. I mean, just because imagine spinning wheels. So yeah, not too large in general. But I imagine too that they can be miniaturized. One business idea I have for it is if we could get very small magnets.
Yes, poor Ashton. He even screws up a simple point in physics.
Like some kind of portable charger that's like just a free energy charger. Because I saw people that had these when I was at the Cosmic Summit, but it's like solar.
Yeah,
so
those
you can, like,
actually
charge
work.
This battery
Ashton.
from like a solar panel, and then you
Solar
can plug your USB to plug your phone
work.
into it. Imagine having a little device like that, but that's just extracting energy from the environment all the time. So you just have a portable charger everywhere you go.
That's always charging. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's very cool.
He meant because even if it was only producing a little bit of excess energy, as long as there's like a little battery connected to it that it's charging up all the time.
Chad is allowing it.
Like that could be awesome. So
get the magnets from Sarah Adams Medbeds.
Enough where like that's like a different type of product as opposed to one that's just powering your whole house.
Another device that didn't work.
That's a more mainstream one, right? To sell, right? It seems like. Have you talked about price this publicly? I don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, and I kind of got attacked for it, but I've always tried to be transparent about it. So, like the price range.
Yeah, I try to be transparent, but I can't show you any proof that I've ever even seen a working device, let alone have one in my possession. I've never seen the proof that 30 people bought a working device or talked to any of the purchasers of it to verify that the device that they purchased, all 30 of them worked.
Changes wildly. So it can be anywhere from like as low as potentially $5,000 to $10,000 all the way up over $100,000.
Do you know you can power probably a 3,500 square foot average house from a $50,000 solar system? But hey, why buy that when you can spend $100,000 for Ashton's magic device he can't prove works? He's never even seen. And he's stealing screenshots of 14-year-old YouTube videos as his proof of concept
for these devices because it can be scaled up or down. Now, if you have a device that's on the lower end, you're really talking about something that's just going to be able to charge
the potato battery and stuff like that. That's real free energy.
If you're looking for something that's like going to power a house, then you're looking
Patrick's
at
whatever you say, Ashton. Sure,
but the way that we have it set right now is we don't have specific products. Like this is the model.
What's
that
the
we're
price?
selling
Anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000.
Although
I don't
that's
know.
information
I
that we
don't
are
even
trying
know
to
what the
glean
price
from
is.
this alpha rollout where we get
I
a
don't
few
know
people
what it
on board
costs.
with contracts related
It'll
to
be
it.
sold at Lowe's.
But for now, it's built
Get your
custom
free energy
spec,
device at
and they can be scaled up or down. And one of the main questions that we asked
that amount of energy
was
that amount
how
of
much
money,
power are you trying to generate?
This is a good point. That amount of money would pay for more than a lifetime of energy for anyone, you dumbass. Ashton is a dummy. He doesn't even stop to think. I doubt. I mean, I'm very thrifty with electric usage. Do you know at the cabin we have on-grid power, but our bill there is like $35 a month because we only use it for lights and running power tools, really. And I do that sort of sporadically. But King Bull makes a very good point. For $100,000, you could just pay your electric bill for your whole life, probably, or most of it. So why invest in a magic-free energy device that the seller of which has never seen in person, the seller of which won't hook it up to his house, and the seller of which can't prove that he has a working device? But I'm going to give him $100,000 instead of just paying my $100 electric bill every month for the rest of my life.
Because then we have to figure out exactly how big the device has to be.
Okay, I see.
So
like, what are you going to use this for?
Yeah,
right,
there's a whole list of questions. Like it's probably on my Twitter page. It might not be pinned there anymore, but there was a big list of questions.
People can go find more information, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they can find the email address. I mean, I'll just say it right now. The company.
Yeah, we're gonna stop it there because I don't want any potential victims of Ashton to email him and give him $50,000. So what did we learn tonight? We learned that Patrick from Vetted is a garbage peddling, bottom feeding scumbag who doesn't vet anything. He doesn't know anything about the guests that he platforms or what they're selling. He doesn't know anything about science. He doesn't know anything about physics. He doesn't know anything about the history of free energy scams and free energy scammers. He doesn't know anything about Dr. Stephen Greer and how he collected almost more than $1 million with grifting off of free energy claims and never produced any verifiable proof of his claims. He doesn't know that many of the people that Ashton is citing for proof or evidence are also free energy promoting grifters who have made a lot of money promoting their claims, but have proven zero of them. Free energy, my friends, is a scam. That old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There's also the problem of the economics here. Why would you pay $100,000 for a device when, let's say you're middle-aged? There's no way you're going to pay $100,000 in electric bills before you die, right? I mean, maybe if you're 10 years old, when you buy the $100,000 device, you'll get your $100,000 out of it instead of paying $100 or so electric bill every month, but maybe not. It's so stupid. And why would you buy a magic free energy device from a clown showing still images of a 14-year-old video of a non-working device as his proof that he has free energy technology? It's so childish and so stupid. We also learned that Patrick from Vetted is right there to get his little piece of the grift pie. He's a grifter. I'm sorry, not sorry. Patrick sells a false reality to people. He does no research, no investigation. He does no vetting. His show's called Vetted. Did he vet the claims that Ashton is making here? Did you even know that he showed a fake device that doesn't work as his proof on one of his live streams, Patrick? Are you going to apologize to your audience for promoting pseudoscience fake shit? Probably not. And, you know, what I'm left with is that grifters are going to grift, and grifts of a grifter grift together. The grifters come together like magnets. One of them comes up with a way to make money, like grifting off of free energy. And then the bottom-feeding scumbags like this Vetted host jump in to get their piece of the money. He sold out his audience and let a guy say completely and totally nonsensical pseudoscience fake shit for an hour so that he could make like $100. Patrick from Vetted, I'll send you $100 so you don't have to grift anymore, right? Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll start sponsoring Don't Grift Fund. We'll make a GoFundMe. Please stop grifting and please stop promoting hoaxes. And, you know, I get that this guy is a full-time grifter, but you don't have to lie to people every day of your life or promote pseudoscience garbage or proven hoaxers and hoaxes in order to make a living. Mr. Vetted, wouldn't that be a better way to go about doing what you do? What value does he offer the world? Is there any value in selling lies? Is there any value in selling fake pseudoscience proven grifter garbage like Ashton is selling? Is there any value in promoting Roswell hoaxes? Well, there is value because it puts money in this clown's pocket. And, you know, maybe he hasn't made a lot of money with the Ashton grift, but let's take, for example, the Ron James grift, where he let Ron James sell completely and totally fake pictures of the Roswell or some kind of UFO crash on his show. Got 44,000 views. So if we're conservative in our estimate, let's just say Patrick's CPM, that's how much he's paid per 1,000 views, is $8. That's very conservative. And we times that by 44, he made $352 promoting the Ron James hoax. That's good money for a grifter. Great job, Patrick. You're doing very good promoting fake shit. That's what Patrick from Vetted does. He promotes fake shit. And if you're going to reward him with clicks and views, just know that what he's selling you is fake. We can go through all of his videos and show you just how many fake stories and fake nonsense he has sold. That's what he does. He sells fake stories to stupid people. Don't be one of them. We live in an attention-based economy. And what Patrick is betting on is that you, the viewer, will not fact check just like him, will not vet anything just like him, will not do any research or investigation into any claims, will not fact check claims his guests are making. He's betting on you to be just as lazy of a slob as he is and just believe the garbage that he is putting out on a daily basis. Are you a stupid person? Only stupid person would watch somebody with a proven track record of promoting hoaxes constantly. Only a stupid person would reward a lazy slob full-time show host who can't do 5 minutes of research. Only a stupid person would think they're getting the truth from a show host who keeps getting caught lying to his audience or doing the lie by omission or selling provably fake people, selling provably fake stories. Only a stupid person would be his viewer. Don't be one of them. All right, I think we've done what we can. And by the way, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And the sad truth is that lazy slob full-time show hosts who, remember, he's got to keep selling fake shit in order to eat every day. So lazy slob show hosts who do no vetting, no fact-checking, and no research, those are the people that will be successful because people love fantasy. Reality is boring. People aren't going to tune in for you to say, this whole story is fake. I mean, we do pretty well here. We do pretty well. I just am shocked and amazed that there's so many stupid people in the world. That's all it could be. And Patrick from Vetted only has one out here. He either has to apologize to his audience for promoting all the fake shit and hoaxes he has in the past year. Remember, he's only been here for a year. How many hoaxes has he promoted in 1 year? All he does is promote fake stories, fake people, and hoaxes. We just showed you an example. He's pushing Glenn Dennis's testimony, which no serious researcher thinks is true. Every serious researcher in Roswell completely discounts Glenn Dennis as a fantasy-prone bullshitter. But he made his $80 selling that fake story. And, those $80 add up. So the only play that this Patrick from Vetted has is the dunce hoax promoter defense. We talked about it earlier, but just to bookend things, I will, thanks to Fringe Quest, who copied just the text. So Patrick from Vetted is going to use the dunce hoax promoter defense. That is his only defense for promoting. How many hoaxes in 1 year have you promoted, Patrick from Vetted? How many hoaxes have you been caught pushing and profiting from? How much money did you put in your pocket promoting each of those hoaxes? And his only defense is this. 1, I am so dumb I didn't know it was a hoax. 2, I am so lazy I can't do 5 minutes of research before running with a fake story or hoax in order to put money in my pocket. Number 3, I am so dumb I cannot do any research at all. Number 4, I am so dumb and lazy I promote hoaxes by accident, of course. Number 5, I am so dishonest and unethical of a person that I have to pretend that I'm too dumb and lazy to do 5 minutes of research before promoting a hoax. So which one is it, Patrick from Vetted? Did you intentionally push fake stories, disinformation, misinformation, and hoaxes in order for you to personally profit? Did you do it on purpose? Or are you so goddamn dumb that you can't do any research? Those are your two choices. Admit that you were either an intentional hoax promoter or that you're so stupid you're the dumbest, laziest UFO show host on YouTube. Those are your choices. Either you are an intentional hoax promoting grifter or you are the dumbest and laziest show host on YouTube. And some people earn their spot as a full-time show host. I still haven't. I have to have a real job. And there's a reason for that. It's not for lack of time, energy, dedication, research, investigation, fact checking, interview skills. It's not for any of that. The reason that I can't be a full-time show host is because, unlike Jimmy Church, Goof On, Third Phase of Moon, Vetted, Christina Gomer, That UFO Podcast, and hundreds of other garbage peddling bullshit hucksters, I won't sell my audience fake stories. And I also won't sell my audience half a story and leave out the other half just so that I can personally profit. So, it's like trying to compete with these grifters is like break both my legs and then expect me to run a marathon. I might finish the marathon, but man, have I got a handicap here. And it's called having integrity. Patrick from Vetted has the integrity of a crackhead holding a gas can, asking you for gas money to get home. Patrick from Vetted is about as credible as a crackhead holding up a gas can, asking you for money to get home. And anybody from a major city understands that analogy. If you live in a major city, you pull into a gas station, there's always a crackhead with a gas can claiming that he just needs $10 to get some gas to go home. You know what they do when you give them the money? They buy crack. That's what they do. And again, I don't wish any ill will on anybody, Ashton or this Vetted clown, but I will say that they should both look into the history of hoax promoters. Look at what happens to them. Most of them die penniless and alone, and a great many of them I have seen become horrific abusers of drugs and alcohol. Because I will say it once again, what Patrick from Vetted does is corrosive to the soul of anybody with a conscience. I mean, maybe he's a psychopath and doesn't have a conscience, or a sociopath. There's some people that have a mental condition where they have no guilt scamming people. And by the way, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not diagnosing him. We're just spitballing here. But I will say that Patrick from Vetted and Ashton should look into the history of hoax promoting grifters. A great many of them I have seen become horrific abusers of drugs and alcohol. And I think it's just my opinion, but my opinion is that lying to people every day and promoting fake shit that is fake in order to make money is corrosive to your soul. It's corrosive to your spirit. It is corrosive to your human condition. Imagine the hellish existence. I feel sorry for this guy, Patrick. Like I said, maybe we should start a GoFundMe so he can stop promoting hoaxes, or we can, everybody send him some canned goods, maybe some canned soup, some ramen, whatever, so that he could eat every day without lying to people, without promoting fake nonsense, without promoting scams, grifters, fake stories, proven disinformation, proven fake information. Imagine the hellish existence that every day when you wake up, you have to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to have to lie to people again. I'm going to have to sell fake stories today so that I can keep the money rolling in, so that I can eat. Like I said, I believe that's corrosive to the soul. And that's why you see so many grifters like these people. They're just getting started. They've both only been here a year. Imagine them 10 years from now, what they're going to be willing to do and say in order to keep the grift going. I have seen so many tragic stories of people like these two that become horrific drug addicts, horrific alcoholics, because they need to medicate themselves, self-medicate themselves, because it's so corrosive to the soul. It's so despicable what they do every day, lying to people, that they have to self-medicate. We've seen various examples of other people like them that have become horrific drug and alcohol abusers. You can't, as a human being with a conscience, do this every day and suffer no ill consequences. There will be a karmic debt. And hey, I'm sure some people will say, oh, you're just jealous because his show's getting more views than you. No, I am never jealous of grifters. I'm not jealous of Third Phase of Moon or Goof On or Christina Gomer or Jimmy Church or any of the other That UFO podcasts, Matt Ford. I'm not jealous of them. They sell lies every day. There's nothing to be proud of. Like, oh, I did a great job today. I got 10,000 views selling a fake story. That's not something that you should be proud of, you dummy. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. Now, I want to thank all of our kind and generous benefactors. Just checking in and make sure we don't have more to read out. For those unaware, we're a viewer-supported show. And by the way, somebody started sending me money on Buy Me a Coffee, which we haven't used, but I'm going to start using that, because for those unaware, the YouTube VIC is like 30%. So if you send $10, we only get 7 of it. And then I have to pay taxes on top of that. That's another third. So very quickly, a $10 super chat turns into a $4 or $5 actual income for our show. We'd like to encourage you, especially if you have any large pledges, if you're feeling generous, send a PayPal pledge. Just send a PayPal pledge through truthseekershow@gmail.com. You can always send a PayPal there. Add a note with your chat room user ID. We want to thank Maria for a kind and generous $100 PayPal pledge, who says, the shows lately have been great and I'm loving the replays. Please don't stop running the replays on the weekends when you were off. Yeah, I apologize. This weekend, for those unaware, I was at the cabin with a whole cabin full of family. My wife's got a huge family. She's got 8 brothers and sisters. We had a whole bunch of them staying at the cabin this weekend. I didn't really have time during the week or weekend to make the replays or classic episodes. So we kind of skipped this weekend. We will have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend covered with the Roswell material. It's a 24-hour deep dive into the Roswell event, the deepest dive that's ever been on the internet. So if you're interested in Roswell, don't listen to garbage peddlers like Patrick from Vetted pushing completely proven fake information about Roswell. Listen to good researchers. We've got alien scientists in that. We've got Kevin Randall. We've got every researcher that we could find that has written a book or authored a book. Besides Kevin Randall, we have, one second, let me just look it up because I don't want to, we have Walter Bosley in that series as well, and many, many more. In fact, we have virtually every world-renowned expert. And those are Roswell 75th anniversary deep dive. Well, it'll be 77th anniversary deep dive. Yeah, one second here. Stanton Friedman is included in that, a recording. We have Don Schmidt. We have alien scientist, Cal Korff, skeptical view from him. We have Tom Carey and others. Every world-renowned expert or author on research is part of this Roswell anniversary event. We're going to be replaying it this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. Questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. Got a little bit more time to share. But somehow this turned into a 3.5-hour rant broadcast. Not that I'm complaining. Some people like these 3.5-hour rants. It takes a while to get all the points across, right? David Wilcox Forehead, do you accept crypto donations? No, generally I don't. I have a crypto wallet. Maybe we will start doing that. Stanton Friedman was Bob Lazar's arch nemesis. Yeah. Bob Marley says, evidence, put up or shut up, my friends. King Bull says, I will watch that. Yeah, I appreciate the attendance. So questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. Otherwise, we'll be bouncing out of here. I was always recon, so usually just hanging back. I wasn't aware of that. He just got interviewed by Vetted recently. Who got interviewed by Vetted recently? Archaic Revival is here. One second. So questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. I don't know what else to say about these two. Like, what's Ashton going to do when he can't prove that he has a working device? Is he going to say that he got scammed? That's what I think his play is going to be. Oh, the people that I was working with scammed me and the device didn't work. He's going to blame other people. Mysteries of Ancient Archaeology pushers are in on it. Yeah, we've covered some of that, right? Archaic Revival. I understand because I use money for it too. Hookers and drugs. Yeah, we need to start a fund for that. We need a fund for that. Genuine Argyle. The world is not fair. Nobody will ever convince me that Taylor Swift is not overrated as a singer, songwriter, musician, performer. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, Genuine Argyle, but I do think she's talented from the little that I do know about her or that I've seen. Not everybody's cup of tea, a little too pop for me. What do you have lined up for this week? Well, tomorrow we have an interesting interview about demonic influence on UFOs, aliens, and the paranormal with Ursula Belinsky, who's written a new book that I couldn't put down, and that is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We've also got a Wacky World of Wilcock. I guess we'll do that on Wednesday. I may try to jam in one more show for the week. For those unaware, if you're a Patreon supporter or a YouTube channel member, I just put a new video up last night late. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is a preview of the next Murder in UFO Land series, the Sherry Shriner murder. And I'll be putting up one new YouTube member or Patreon video a month. For those unaware, our Patreon is $1 a month. So for $1 a month, you can support somebody who isn't doing this full time, but is blowing away some clown that has all day and all night. It's his full time. I just can't get over it. I'm sorry. I can't get over that it's his full time job to do that show and he can't do 5 minutes of research. So our Patreon's $1 a month. YouTube channel membership is $5. You get the same extra goodies. But on the YouTube side, you get a channel member badge and a few extra YouTube goodies. Al Garay says, I'm already looking forward to the next Wacky World of Wilcock. I'm not. This last stream was pretty boring, honestly, Al Garay, but we'll turn it into some fun. Bobby Broadway is here. Imagine thinking the Flight MH370 video was real and showing it to your family. I feel bad for those people. Yeah. Where make-believe is real, says King Bull. Yes, it's the Wacky World of Wilcock where make-believe is real. How much money can he steal? He's still waiting on that big loan to come through. Talented, yes, but not the best looking, though. I think she's attractive. This is coming from a man who has a blonde-haired, blue-eyed wife, though, so maybe I'm a little biased. And you know what's interesting? Before my wife, I dated almost no blonde women, maybe one or two. But they were very short term, and maybe like a hookup or a one night stand, not really dating. I never was partial to blondes. And then I met my wife and she converted me. Every girlfriend, long-term girlfriend or long-term relationship I had before my wife was with a very dark-haired woman. I always kind of preferred that. But somehow I met my wife. She's blonde hair, blue-eyed, beautiful. She converted me, right? Bob Marley says, Stephen, my friend, vampires and werewolves don't join NATO. If you say so, the actual crash site is miles away from Roswell. Yeah, actually it is. And we cover all that in our Roswell series. The families might try to sue him after they find out he's still promoting fake CGI MH370 video. Could be. I mean, I don't wish any ill will, but if I was a family member, I would sue him for every dollar he made promoting that scam hoax with these fake videos and then some. I'd sue him for every dollar. I'd subpoena how much money. By the way, does anybody have any guesses? How much money has Ashton Forbes made on YouTube promoting completely and totally scientifically proven fake videos? How much money has he made promoting lies? And why is YouTube allowing that? I have no idea. Is it a gray area? I don't know. Forbes magnetic motor vividly reminds me of Searle effect generator. Yeah, we did a whole series on that. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that name. 1 second here. I'm going to put in the live chat. I'm going to pin it. We did a free energy deep dive. And that free energy deep dive, what it proved through history is that nobody in the history of people making free energy claims, nobody has ever, no one has ever proven that a free energy device that works exists. No one. 1 second. I'm going to put into the live chat this. If you want more information on what a scam, we did a complete and total deep dive into free energy claims and what I would just consider free energy scams. 1 second. Live chat. Gotta love it when the ad covers up where you can put in. I'll just put our free energy deep dive. And by the way, people like Patrick from Vetted and Ashton Forbes should watch this entire video, because history teaches us that every person that's ever made free energy claims, all they did was collect a lot of money and never prove that they have a working device. It's always, well, we need a little more funding to get to the final stage where we can manufacture. Oh, we need a little more funding for research before we can mass manufacture. Oh, we need a little more funding. They never produce a working device. No person in the history of free energy claims, grifting, scams, whatever you want to call it, has ever proven that they have a working device. And you'd be surprised how many, there's hundreds of people that have made these claims. We've focused on the biggest ones, including John Searle, who had the Searle effect generator. He scammed people for decades. He's still scamming people. I think he's still alive, last I checked, and still scamming people looking for investment money to produce his free energy device that he's not been able to reproduce after decades of grifting. David Wilcox Forehead said, Stephen from Canada will conquer. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. Foreclose, foreshadowing, not quite done, says Martin R. Yeah. Zero energy efficient is 0 divided by 0 times 100%. If you say so. So listen, we've done our due diligence here today. We have set out to prove what we wanted to prove, which is Ashton's free energy claims are garbage. And he can prove me wrong. You know how he can prove me wrong? Get a physicist, an independent physicist, not a buddy of his. Get a electrical engineer and an electronics expert. Get those 3 people to evaluate your device and write a paper that supports that the device that you claim is producing over unity free energy or 0 point energy is actually doing what you said. Further, you're going to have to get them to agree with you that that device will work for 40 years. Then you'll prove me wrong, Ashton. But until that time, you are just the latest in a long line of people who scammed the public out of money, making free energy claims, but never providing proof that they have a working device. And I truly believe that history is our greatest teacher. And what history teaches us is that all these people that make these claims never prove they have a working device. Never. Do I believe that Ashton Forbes will be any different? No. I believe that this grift will fall apart in the next 6 months when he fails to provide sufficient evidence or proof. And when I say proof, I mean what I said. He can't just say it works. He can't just hook a multimeter to it and say, see, it's producing more than we're putting in. He needs independent verification. That's how real science works, peer review. He has to have qualified, educated scientists like a physicist, an electrical engineer, and an electronics expert. 3 of those people, if 3 of those people look at it and agree that Ashton is telling the truth, I will apologize. Do I think I'm going to be apologizing anytime soon? Hell no, because Ashton's a grifter. All right, so we've done our due diligence, friends. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a great interview with a great new author. Well, I don't know. She might have written some other books. I'm only aware of this one, which she sent me, which is incredible. You don't want to miss tomorrow night. We'll have a great interview and conversation. And that's all about the demonic influence on the paranormal, UFOs, and aliens. And it is great. Her book is called The Devil in Dreamland. I'm not sure if that's the finished title or a working title. I think that might be the finished title, The Devil in Dreamland. You'll be blown away by some of the things that she has to share. That's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here, and I hope you will be too. So for tonight, that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you. And God bless Ashton, and God bless Patrick from Vetted. I will put them, I mean this thoroughly, and sincerely, I am putting those two on my daily prayer list, because the hellish existence that both of these guys live, selling people lies every day, I truly believe it's corrosive to the soul, and I wish a road to redemption for them. They should do something meaningful and something that has value. I truly am a believer in the fact that God, the great spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, has given each of us incredible gifts. And we are our best selves when we are using those gifts and sharing our God-given gifts with the world. And despite everything else I think about Patrick from Vetted or Ashton Forbes, I believe that they have God-given gifts and talents, and they should use those God-given gifts and talents to do something better with their lives than lie to people. So that's all I got for you, friends. Good night, and God bless all of you.